Encountering an Emperor tier evil god race. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2003. Encountering an Emperor tier evil god race. Damn the evil god race. Desolately roared, his veins bulging. Feng Ling, Long Qin, Luo Qianni, Luo Xiang, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others also burst out with cold killing intent. It was obvious that this was the evil god tribe's doing. Wherever the evil god tribe went, blood would flow like rivers and not even chickens or dogs would be left. Box novel. The reason why the evil god tribe killed so many people was to use the smell of blood to cover up their aura and escape from our pursuit. Wei Xian gritted his teeth and clenched his fists tightly. His words made Lu Ming and the rest's killing intent grow stronger. The evil god tribe had massacred so many people just to use the smell of blood to cover up their aura and escape from their pursuit. Their methods were so cruel that it made one's hair stand on end. Damned evil god tribe. Kill, I'll definitely kill all these bastards. Desolately roared. There was no room for reconciliation between them and the evil god race. When both sides met, they could only kill. Either you die or I die. Wei Xian, can you continue tracking? Lu Ming took a deep breath to calm himself down and asked. The evil god tribe is very cunning. They massacred an entire city and collected a large amount of blood. They even split up into a few paths and scattered blood along the way to deceive us. However, they still underestimated me. As long as I have some time, I can find the right direction. Wei Xian said. All right, let's go. Lu Ming nodded. The group went around the town. Wei Xian sensed carefully. After a moment, he pointed to the left and took the lead. The group followed. This time, another half a day had passed, and they arrived at the entrance of a hidden valley. This place was filled with mountains, one after another, as if there was no end to them. If one were to hide here, it would be difficult to find them unless one had a powerful tracking technique. The evil god tribe is in this valley, Wei Xian said. All right, Wei Xian, you guys guard the entrance of the valley. Lu Ming looked at Wei Xian and a few other desolate race members with weaker cultivation. Can I join the battle? The Alliance Master is my idol, Wei Xian said. 2 months ago he took the initiative to look for Lu Ming and the rest. The moment he saw Lu Ming, he said that Lu Ming was his idol. He had joined the Dragon Alliance because of this. In the beginning, Lu Ming was rather speechless. However, during this period of time, Wei Xian had integrated into the team and gained everyone's recognition. However, Wei Xian's cultivation was still a little low. He had just broken through to the Great Saint Realm and Lu Ming did not want him to take the risk. Your task of guarding the entrance of the valley is also very important. If there are any fish that escape, you will be responsible for sniping them, Lu Ming said. Wei Xian was helpless. He knew that his cultivation level was weak and he might drag Lu Ming and the rest down if he followed them in. Hence he nodded and stayed. Lu Ming, Huang Li, Huang Ling, Long Qin, Luo Xiang, Ouyang Wushuang, Luo Qianni, and Bubbles concealed their auras and walked into the valley. In the valley, there were at least a few dozen members of the evil god tribe gathered together. Some of them were recuperating while others were cultivating. Enemy attack. The evil god tribe was very sharp. They had discovered Lu Ming and the rest the moment they entered the valley. The dozens of evil god tribe members released their auras at the same time and swept their gazes over to Lu Ming and the others. Those young men, kill them. When some of the evil god race members saw that Lu Ming and the others were just a bunch of youths, they immediately roared. Destructive light burst forth from their third eye as they charged toward Lu Ming and the others. At the same time, the third eyes of the other members of the evil god race shot out beams of destructive light that were extremely powerful. The people of the evil god race who could escape here were all experts. They were at least absolute saints and most of them were emperors to be. Kill, die. Lu Ming and the others shouted and attacked, destroying the beams of destructive light and heading toward the evil god race. After such a long period of fighting, the abilities of Lu Ming and the rest had improved by leaps and bounds. Almost every one of them had the strength to fight or even kill an ordinary emperor to be. Lu Ming and Bubbles' combat strength was even more shocking. With a wave of their hands, an emperor to be was killed. In an instant, more than 10 members of the evil god race were killed by them. The remaining members of the evil god race had extremely unsightly expressions on their faces. They knew that they had encountered a terrifying genius. Retreat, retreat. Some of the evil god tribe members roared and wanted to retreat into the depths of the valley. Bubbles stopped them. Lu Ming sent a voice transmission to Bubbles. Watch me, Chirpy. Bubbles pressed down with her small hands, causing the void to fluctuate. The space formed into many shields that enveloped the evil god tribe. Boom, boom. The evil god race's attacks slammed onto the spatial shield. They wanted to rush out but they were unable to break it at all. Then Lu Ming and the rest arrived and killed the evil god race members one by one. You're looking for death. At this moment, a loud roar came from the depths of the valley, causing the entire valley to shake. A vast pressure spread out from the depths of the valley. That was emperor pressure. There was actually a great emperor from the evil god race in the valley. No wonder those from the evil god race had wanted to rush into the depths of the valley. The expressions of Lu Ming and the rest turned grave. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. Lu Ming continued to point out the chaos finger tribulation. One after another, finger forces shot out and killed all the remaining evil god race members. In the next moment, a strong gust of wind blew. A tall and burly member of the evil god race charged out and landed heavily on the ground. A vast pressure pressed down on Lu Ming and the others as heavy as mountains. This was a genuine emperor, but it seemed that he was only a void emperor. He's injured, said Huang Ling. Indeed, half of the evil god race member's body had exploded, and there was a layer of flames burning on the wound. It let out sizzling sounds and prevented the evil god race member from recovering. Clearly, this evil god race member had fled here with severe injuries and was recuperating here. However, Lu Ming and the rest did not dare to be careless. Even an injured martial emperor was absolutely terrifying. Even if I'm injured, it's enough to kill you all. Kill. The evil god tribe's illusory the arch shouted as a destructive light shot out from the third eye between his brows. Chaos finger. Lu Ming pointed his finger with all his might. A huge finger collided with the other party's destructive light. Boom. With a loud boom, the chaotic finger of tribulation was destroyed, but the destructive light was also blocked by Lu Ming. Lu Ming's body trembled and he retreated. He felt his qi and blood surging. The martial emperor realm is indeed powerful, Lu Ming thought to himself. With Lu Ming's current combat strength, killing an emperor-to-be would be a piece of cake. However, he was at a disadvantage after exchanging a blow with his opponent. A martial emperor was too powerful. He had already cultivated the power of the world and had unparalleled attack power. There was a huge difference between an emperor-to-be and a martial emperor. Lu Ming was shocked, but he did not know that the other party was even more shocked. It was unbelievable that an absolute saint could block one of his moves. Martial sovereigns were high and mighty and had endless lifespans. In some places they were called immortal. When faced with a martial supreme, anyone below the rank of a martial supreme would not be able to resist at all. They could be killed with a thought. But now, an absolute saint, who wasn't even an emperor-to-be, was able to block his attack without being injured. This was too terrifying. Battling the Emperor Realm Evil God Race. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2004. Battling the Emperor Realm Evil God Race. Kill, this brat must die. The evil god tribe's martial emperor roared in his heart. If such a genius were to grow up, he would be a great enemy of their race. His body burst with endless light, and his aura became stronger and stronger. A huge battle axe appeared in his hand. They'll block it from the front. Bubble, cooperate with me. You guys attack from the back. Box novel. Calm Lu Ming transmitted a message to everyone. The acupoints on his body glowed, and more than 10 holy weapons floated out and circled around him. Whoosh. Lu Ming cast the chaos finger of tribulation again and pointed. And NBSP, a massive chaos finger of tribulation, shot toward RHE enemy. Kill. The evil god tribe's emperor-to-be bellowed as his burly body charged toward Lu Ming. His third eye once again shot out a destructive light. At the same time he waved his battle axe and charged at Lu Ming. At this moment, bubbles pressed down with both hands and a transparent bubble enveloped RHE other party's body. At the same time, the surrounding space turned into many spatial blades that slashed towards the other party. Break. The evil god tribe's marshal the Arch roared as his world energy erupted. The transparent bubbles trembled violently and could shatter at any moment. At the same time he continued to slash out with his huge axe, destroying the bubbles' attacks. At the same time the attacks from the others also arrived. A blazing phoenix spread its wings and flew toward the evil god tribe's martial sovereign. An ancient dragonesque elephant stepped into the air and crushed forward. A star and a terrifying sword light charged toward the evil god tribe's martial sovereign at the same time. Then Luo Qianni and Ouyang Wushuang also made their moves. With so many people attacking together, the power was shocking. The evil god tribe's martial sovereign roared and slashed out with his giant axe continuously, breaking the attacks. Whoosh. The evil god tribe's martial emperor's third eye shot out another beam of destructive light that shattered the transparent bubble. Go to hell. The evil god tribe's martial sovereign roared. His third eye shone with a dazzling light, and endless energy in the world gathered towards that eye. Not good. Lu Ming's expression changed slightly. At that moment, Bubbles cast the spacetime law and the power of spacetime, enveloping Lu Ming and the rest, increasing their speed. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. In the next moment, the evil god Tribus Martial Emperor's eyes shot out a dozen beams of light that shot toward them at an astonishing speed. Fortunately, each of them was shrouded in a spacetime law. Their speed increased sharply, and they dodged Rhe light attack in a flash. Lu Ming continuously dodged the attacks of the light rays. With a wave of his hand, 9 illusionary prison-suppressing steels appeared and were blasted toward the evil god Tribus Martial Sovereign. Prison-suppressing steel. The evil god Tribe's Martial Emperor cried out in shock. There was a hint of fear in his voice. He waved his battle axe and slashed at the prison-suppressing steel. Boom, boom. With 9 consecutive booms, he destroyed Rhe 9 shadows of the prison-suppressing steels, but he was also suppressed by the strange power of the steels and kept retreating. It's effective. Continue. Lu Ming's eyes lit up. The prison-suppressing steel was indeed very effective against the evil god tribe. Lu Ming continued to cast the prison-suppressing heavenly art. Illusionary pieces of prison-suppressing steels formed and pressed down on Rhe evil god tribe's Martial Emperor. At the same time, Bubbles and the others continued to attack the evil god tribe's Martial Sovereign. The evil god tribe's Martial Emperor was at a disadvantage for a time. Countless runes emanated from Lu Ming's hand and formed a true dragon that pounced toward the evil god Tribus Martial Emperor. The might of this true dragon was extremely shocking. Although it was blasted apart by the evil god Tribus Martial Emperor, it turned into countless runes that covered the evil god tribe's Martial Emperor's body and formed a sealing power. In the past, Lu Ming had not only achieved a breakthrough in his cultivation, but he had also made great progress in other aspects. Now he was able to combine the Sealed Scroll, the Illusionary Spirit Scroll, and the Annihilation Scroll to launch an attack. The power of the 3 scrolls combined into one was extremely terrifying. It had a terrifying destructive power and also a sealing power. Moreover, when the 3 scrolls were combined into one, it allowed Lu Ming to cultivate the Array Dao laws to 99% in one go. It could be said that Rhe combined power of the 3 volumes was no weaker than the Chaos Finger Tribulation. After all, the evil god Tribus Martial Emperor had been severely injured, and his combat strength had been greatly reduced. On the other hand, Lu Ming and the rest were astonishingly powerful. Lu Ming's combat strength was enough to fight them head-on. In addition, Bubbles' spacetime laws restricted the other party, causing the other party's combat strength to be reduced by a few percent. The attacks of Rhe others were aimed at the wounds of the evil god tribe's Martial Sovereign, worsening his injuries. Of course, Rhe thing that hurt the evil god tribe's Martial Emperor the most was still the prison-suppressing heavenly art. After exchanging a few dozen moves, Rhe evil god tribe's Martial Emperor's injuries worsened, and his aura was much weaker than before. Destruction. Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. At this moment, Lu Ming circulated all his holy power and pointed with all his might. An extremely huge finger materialized and descended from the sky, pressing down on the evil god tribe's Martial Sovereign. Moreover, the surface of the finger was not only covered in chaotic laws, but also densely packed runes. This was the ultimate move that Lu Ming had developed during this period of time. He had fused the power of the Annihilation Manual with the Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. The Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger already had terrifying offensive power, and now, with the addition of the Destruction Scroll's destructive power, its might was even more terrifying. This already involved the fusion of 2 types of laws. Although it was not a complete fusion and only a superficial fusion, the power was already extremely terrifying. It had become Lu Ming's strongest killing move. Lu Ming named it Destruction. Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. How can he be so strong? The evil god tribe's Martial Sovereign roared. The power of this finger had shocked him and he could feel a fatal threat. He couldn't imagine that an absolute saint could unleash such a terrifying attack. I'm going to block it. The evil god tribe's Martial Emperor circulated all the power in his body and exploded forth in an attempt to block the finger. However, at this moment, another transparent bubble enveloped him. At the same time, the space around his body seemed to have frozen and was crazily squeezing towards him. There was even a terrifying power of time acting on his wounds. This was the power of time acceleration which made his injuries even more serious. At the same time, Rhe attacks of the others arrived. The cooperation between Lu Ming and the rest was flawless. The evil god tribe's martial emperor roared and slashed out with his axe with all his might. However, his strength was greatly limited, and the power he could exert was limited. When the battle axe and the giant finger collided, a terrifying boom was heard. Buzz! The battle axe trembled. The evil god tribe's martial emperor could not hold onto the battle axe and was sent flying. The huge finger pointed at Rhe evil god tribe's martial emperor, and the powerful force was about to blow him up. Boom! The evil god tribe's martial emperor's body smashed into the valley, causing the entire valley to explode. The entire area within a radius of a few thousand miles exploded, and countless rocks flew everywhere. The scene was extremely terrifying. The evil god tribe's martial emperor was severely injured by this move, and he was on the verge of death. Prison-suppressing steel, suppress. At that moment, Lu Ming's spine glowed and the prison-suppressing steel bloodline flew out. As soon as the prison-suppressing steel bloodline was released, it shone with a brilliant light and pressed down on the evil god tribe's martial sovereign. Reappearance of the Heng family and the He family. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2005. Reappearance of the Heng family and the He family. Translator. One He bloodline of the prison-suppressing steel was formed from the two fragments. At this moment, the two large words on the two fragments were shining brightly. They burst forth with a shocking suppressive force that pressed down on the evil god tribe's martial sovereign. No! The evil god tribe's martial sovereign roared in fear. He was already severely injured, but he struggled to get up and use all his remaining strength to block the prison-suppressing steel. Boom. Box novel. The evil god tribe's martial sovereign raised both his hands and unleashed all his power. However, when his palms came into contact with the prison-suppressing steel, his body shook violently and the fear on his face grew even more intense. His body kept on exploding. In just a few breaths, the evil god tribe's martial sovereign's body had completely exploded and turned into ashes, leaving behind only a storage bracelet and a battle axe. Lu Ming waved his hand and grabbed the storage bracelet. The others heaved a long sigh of relief. It was impossible to say that they did not feel any pressure when facing a martial supreme. It was a good thing that the other party had been severely injured earlier, and his combat strength had been greatly reduced. Otherwise, even if they joined forces, they might not be his match. After all, a martial emperor was still a martial emperor. Even if he was just a void emperor, he was still extremely terrifying. Let's recover here first. After patrolling the valley, he did not find anything unusual. Lu Ming planned to recover here first and adjust his condition to the peak before returning. Everyone nodded and sat down cross-legged to recover. Lu Ming entered the mountain and river diagram and came to the celestial thearch's physical body. For the past 2 months, every time Lu Ming killed the evil god tribe and obtained their crystals, he would fuse the energy of the crystals into the celestial thearch's physical body. By now, the energy stored in the celestial thearch's body had exceeded 10%. Lu Ming could now fully control the celestial thearch's body. However, unless he had no other choice, Lu Ming would not use it easily. After using it, it was too difficult to accumulate so much energy again. It would require an astonishing amount of resources. Lu Ming took out the evil god tribe's martial emperor's storage bracelet. The next moment, a huge pile of crystals appeared on the ground. There are indeed a lot of resources for martial emperor powerhouses. Looking at the large pile of crystals, Lu Ming revealed a smile. Bang, bang, bang. Then Lu Ming circulated his cultivation technique. A large pile of crystals exploded and were absorbed by the celestial thearch's body. After all the energy from the crystals had been absorbed, the energy stored in the celestial emperor's corporeal body had reached 12%. I wonder how powerful it will be if one controls celestial emperor's corporeal body now. Lu Ming was filled with anticipation. This was the celestial emperor's corporeal body. The power that erupted was absolutely unimaginable. Then Lu Ming took out some rough stones, devoured them, and refined them to restore his condition to its peak. When everyone's condition had recovered to its peak, they returned to Heavenly Emperor City. During this period of time, the evil god tribe in Heaven Empyrean City had basically been wiped out. Heaven Empyrean City had started a large-scale reconstruction, and the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy had already convened once again. Alliance Master, the reconstruction of the Wei family has begun. They'll return to the Wei family first. If you're free, come to the Wei family as guests. Wei Xian smiled. Alright, I hope the Wei family can rise again. Lu Ming patted Wei Xian's shoulder. The Wei clan was originally a pretty good power in Heavenly Emperor City, and they had a true emperor in charge. However, the location of the Wei clan was very close to the original Heavenly Emperor Mountain. Initially, when the evil god tribe had attacked, the Wei clan had been the first to bear the brunt. In that battle, almost all of the Wei clan's upper echelons were killed, and all of their great emperors were killed by the evil god race. The Wei clan was almost completely destroyed. Only a few members of the Wei family were not in the family, so they survived. For example, Wei Xian was in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, so he was fine. Now, the remaining members of the Wei family were rebuilding the family. After Wei Xian left, Lu Ming and the group strolled around the Heavenly Emperor City. The Heavenly Emperor City had suffered a great battle and was severely damaged. Various historical sites had collapsed, and it was unknown how long it would take to repair it. Boom. Suddenly, there was a loud boom and a few figures were blasted out of a collapsed hall. "What are you guys doing? This is my Lu clan's residence." One of them roared at the palace. "It belongs to the Hung family in the future. Let us go." A cold voice sounded. More than 10 figures stepped into the air and appeared. The Hung family. A cold glint flashed in the eyes of Lu Ming and the rest. During the war, the Hung family had disappeared. Now that they had won the war and the evil god race had been annihilated, the Hung family had immediately come out. And from the looks of it, they seemed to want to invade the territory of other forces. "Your Hung clan is simply despicable and shameless. Why didn't you do anything when we were fighting against the evil god tribe? Now that the battle is over, you've come out and even want to take over my Lu clan's estate. Despicable." In the Lu family, a young man shouted in anger. "How dare you insult my Hung family? You deserve to die." An expert from the Hung family roared. A sword light burst forth and was about to slash at the young man from the Lu family. The person from the Hung family was a perfected absolute saint, so the young man from the Lu family couldn't stop him. Boom. A fist force crossed the void and destroyed the sword light of the Hung family's expert. It was Desolate Li who had made his move. His eyes were filled with anger. "Who are you? How dare you interfere in the Hung family's business? You're looking for death." The Hung family's experts swept their gaze over the desolate power and then at Lu Ming and the rest. Suddenly, someone's expression changed and said, "Lu Ming, he's Lu Ming. It's true that the Hung family is despicable and shameless. Can't you let others say it?" Lu Ming said in disdain. "Lu Ming, are you sure you want to interfere in the Hung family's business?" One of Rhe Emperor-to-be from the Hung family looked at Lu Ming coldly. "Get lost." Lu Ming suddenly took a step forward, and a violent pressure pressed down on the Hung family. The expressions of more than Ren Hung family members changed drastically, and they were forced to retreat under the pressure. They looked at Lu Ming with horror in their eyes. Lu Ming was becoming more and more terrifying. When an ordinary emperor-to-be faced with Lu Ming, it was as if they were facing a behemoth. They could not even summon the will to resist. "Lu Ming, just you wait." An emperor-to-be from the Hung family left with his tail between his legs. "Many thanks." The few people from the Lu family thanked Lu Ming and the rest. Lu Ming shook his head and did not say much. He left the place with Desolate Force and the rest. He understood that he could only help the Lu family temporarily. Since the Hung family had returned and wanted to swallow the Lu family would definitely not be able to survive. They continued to stroll around, but what they saw next filled them with righteous indignation. Not only had the Hung family returned, but the He family had also returned. These two overlords of the Heavenly Emperor City, Emperor-level forces, possessed extremely powerful combat strength. However, the two races were nowhere to be seen in the previous battle. Once the battle ended, the people from both races appeared. The key was that both the Hung family and the He family were taking the opportunity to swallow up the territories of other forces. In the past, the Hung clan and the He clan were enemies. The other powerhouses in the Heavenly Emperor City were also very strong. When they joined forces, they could still compete with the two clans. However, after the battle with the evil god tribe, many forces in the Heavenly Emperor City had suffered heavy losses, and they were unable to fight against the Hung clan and the He clan. Killing everyone. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2006. Killing everyone. Despicable. This is too despicable. Desolate Li had a bad temper and couldn't help but roar. The others' eyes were also filled with anger. Some of the people wanted to resist but were killed immediately. Their abilities were limited and they couldn't manage it. Not good. The Wei family is in danger. Box novel. Calm. Suddenly, Lu Ming's expression changed. Almost all of the great emperors in the Wei clan were dead, and only a few were left to rebuild the clan. There were no experts at all. The Wei clan's mansion and other resources would definitely be targeted by the Hang and He clans. Wei Xian had just returned and was probably in danger. Thinking of this, the others' expressions changed. Let's go to the Wei family. Lu Ming took the lead and flew toward the Wei family, followed by the rest. At this moment, the Wei family was indeed facing a disaster, and the He family had their eyes on this place. Bang! An absolute saint of the Wei family was killed by an emperor-to-be of the He family. His body fell to the ground. Today you have to agree even if you don't want to. Otherwise you will die. A He clan emperor-to-be sneered and looked down at the remaining Wei clan members. There were only a little more than 100 people left in the Wei family. The strongest one was only at the emperor-to-be realm. It was impossible for them to compete with the He family. Your family is despicable. You were afraid of death in the previous war and didn't dare to fight. What kind of emperor-level force are you? You're worse than a dog's fart. Wei Xian had also returned to the Wei family. At this moment he roared with anger. Brat, you dare to insult my He family and the great emperor of the He family. You will have a miserable ending. One promise. An emperor-to-be from the He clan walked toward Wei Xian with a cold look. I'm from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. You guys dare to touch me? Wei Xian said. So what if you are from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy? Kill him. The He clan's emperor-to-be shouted coldly as he charged towards Wei Xian. Let's go, Wei Xian. We'll stop them. A white-haired elder from the Wei clan roared and charged towards the He clan quasi-emperor. Old dog, you still dare to resist? In that case, the Wei clan doesn't need to remain in this world anymore. Kill them without mercy. An emperor-to-be of the He family gave the order. There were more than a dozen emperors-to-be and dozens of absolute saints from the He family. They were far more powerful than the remaining forces of the Wei family. Bus. And NBSP whoosh. The Hung family experts moved. A dozen emperor-to-be and a dozen absolute saints charged toward the Wei family. There were only 5 or 6 emperors-to-be left in the Wei family. The others were all absolute saints or below, so they couldn't resist the attack of the He family. Immediately, the Wei clansmen were killed one by one, and their screams rose and fell. All die. Seeing the Wei clan members being killed one by one, Wei Xian roared with bloodshot eyes. In the blink of an eye, there were only a few emperor-to-be left in the Wei family, who were still resisting desperately. However, facing the siege of more than a dozen emperor-to-be from the He family, they were doomed. In a short while, all the emperors-to-be of the Wei clan were killed, leaving only Wei Xian. This was the other party's intention. Otherwise Wei Xian would have been dead long ago. Your Jia clan will die a terrible death. Wei Xian roared, his eyes turning red from anger. Bah! An emperor-to-be from the He family slapped Wei Xian's face and sent him flying into the ruins of the Wei family. Bus. The emperor-to-be of He clan moved and appeared beside Wei Xian, stepping on him. So what if he's someone from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy? You're still like a dead dog under my feet, haha. The emperor-to-be of the He clan laughed arrogantly. You'd better move your foot away. Otherwise you'll die a terrible death. At this moment, an extremely cold voice came from the distance. Then a dozen figures flashed and appeared not far away. The dozen of people were Lu Ming and the rest. Alliance Master. Wei Xian bellowed when he saw Lu Ming. His eyes were filled with hope. It's Lu Ming. Someone in the He family recognized Lu Ming and exclaimed in surprise. The other members of the He family also changed their expressions abruptly. In the world of the Lotus Flower, Lu Ming had made a name for himself. Even the Eternal Star River had been defeated by him. There was no one below the Marshal Supreme who was not afraid of him. I said move your foot away, did you not hear me? Lu Ming's eyes were cold as he glanced at the He family's emperor-to-be who was stepping on Wei Xian. Step by step he walked toward him. The emperor-to-be of the He clan said with a serious look, Lu Ming, this is the He family's business. You'd better not meddle in other people's business. It seems like you want to die. Lu Ming said coldly. As soon as he finished speaking, a transparent bubble enveloped the He family's emperor-to-be and his body stiffened. The saint energy in Lu Ming's hands surged and condensed into a long spear. The long spear was covered with Formation Dao destruction runes. No, stop. The emperor-to-be from the He clan panicked and screamed in fear. At the same time he struggled with all his might, but it was in vain. Whoosh! Lu Ming swung his arm and the long spear shot out like lightning, piercing through the other party's head. It carried the other party's body and flew tens of thousands of meters away, nailing him to the ground. Don't let a single one of these people off. Lu Ming's voice was heard. Haha, I've long wanted to take action. Desolate Li's eyes turned cold as he charged towards the experts of the He family. Huang Ling, Long Qin and the others also attacked the He family. Lu Ming, you've already offended the Hung family. It won't do you any good to offend the He family. An expert of the He family shouted. Kill? Lu Ming stepped forward and threw a punch. The force of the punch crushed a He clan emperor to be into pieces. In Lu Ming's eyes, these people from the He family were all scumbags who deserved to die. Let's go. The He family's experts roared. They knew that they were no match for Lu Ming. Their figures flickered and they dashed in all directions trying to escape. However, they didn't get very far before they seemed to have hit an invisible wall and were all blocked. Bubbles made a move and sealed the space. Lu Ming, the He family's powerhouses have all returned to Heavenly Emperor City. There are many Emperor-level powerhouses nearby. If you kill us, you will die too. An Emperor-to-be of the He clan shouted. Finish the battle quickly. This was Lu Ming's response. With a wave of his hand, 9 illusionary pieces of the prison-suppressing steel appeared and pressed down. The He family powerhouses were killed one after another. At the same time, Bubbles and the others also made their moves. It was a complete suppression. In the blink of an eye, only a few of the dozens of He family experts were left. Lu Ming, we've already sent out the news that you're dead for sure. The last He family emperor-to-be roared and was killed by Lu Ming with one punch. Let's go back to the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Lu Ming waved his hand and Saint Energy surged. He wrapped Wei Xian up and flew towards the Yuan Mountain Saint Academy at the fastest speed. Not long after they left, a few figures appeared in the sky above the Wei clan, exuding an extremely powerful aura. The figures were all martial Emperor realm powerhouses. Obviously they were the He clan's powerhouses. Lu Ming, you're courting death. Report to the higher-ups, this time we must kill Lu Ming. A few cold and indifferent voices rang out. Then they left. Chapter 2007 The He family comes. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2007. Chapter 2007 The He family comes. In the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, many places were almost fully restored. However, some cultivation places had not been restored yet. Right now there were very few geniuses left in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. The majority of them had already returned to their respective powers. Only a small number of geniuses and the teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy were still present. Of course, due to the evil god tribe's remnants that had been wiped out in the Heavenly Emperor City, many powerful forces and experts were temporarily staying in the Heavenly Emperor City. For example, there were some experts from the Phoenix Palace and the Divine Elephant Sect who were temporarily staying in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Box novel. Calm Lu Ming and the rest returned to the mountain peak where they used to live and treated Wei Xian's injuries. Fortunately, Wei Xian's injuries were not serious and he recovered quickly. However, his eyes were dejected. The Wei family was almost exterminated, and he was the only one left. The He family. Wei Xian clenched his fists and his killing intent was endless. At this moment, a group of powerful existences descended outside the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. These were the experts of the He clan. The few people in the lead were true Emperor realm experts and He Qian was among them. Everyone, this is the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Please wait. 2 teachers from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy appeared, blocking the way of the experts from the He clan. Is Lu Ming in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Institute? Tell him to come out and face his death. He Qian said coldly. He had long wanted to kill Lu Ming. Everyone, this is the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. No matter what grudges you have with Lu Ming, let's settle them outside the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. A teacher from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy said. Since you're not asking Lu Ming to come out, well, go in and look for him. The other true emperor of the He clan spoke and stepped forward. Everyone, please wait. The teacher from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy stretched out his hand and blocked in front of him. Get lost. The true emperor of the He clan struck out with his palm. The terrifying palm force sent the teacher of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy flying as he coughed out blood. This teacher of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy was only a void emperor. He could not stop the other party at all. Let's go. The experts of the He family completely ignored the teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. They rushed into the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy and scanned it with their spiritual senses without any restraint, trying to find Lu Ming. Spread the news. The 2 teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy had ugly expressions as they spread the news. The Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy originally had 3 great emperors. The other powers didn't dare to act impudently in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. However, after the battle with the evil god race, the 2 emperors of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy had fallen. This news had already spread throughout the entire Yuan Mountain. This was why the He clan dared to barge into the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy without any restraint, at the place where Lu Ming and the rest were staying. All of a sudden, Lu Ming and the group felt a powerful spiritual sense sweep over and stop on them. The people of the He family are here. Lu Ming's eyes darkened, revealing a cold glint. She didn't expect that the He clan would actually dare to search the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy without any restraint. Boom. Boom. In the distance, a group of experts stepped on the air and arrived, causing the void to tremble. The terrifying pressure made it difficult for Lu Ming and the rest to breathe. Lu Ming and the rest rushed out of the room and stood in the air. He Qian. Lu Ming saw He Qian at one glance. He Qian's eyes swept towards Lu Ming and the rest. When his eyes swept past Lu Ming, they were filled with killing intent. When his eyes swept past Xiangxiang Bella, they were filled with greed. He had to get Lu Xiangxiang. Lu Ming, you killed many of the He family's experts for no reason. You must pay with your lives. He Qian was the first to speak, his voice filled with cold killing intent. For no reason? It was laughable. You said that a life for a life, but they killed so many people from the Wei family, so it's only a life for a life. Lu Ming sneered. How can the people of the Wei family be compared to the He family? He Qian retorted. Ha ha ha. This time Lu Ming laughed maniacally. His laughter was filled with contempt, which made the faces of the He family members darken. Your He family still thinks so highly of yourself. In my opinion, your He family is not even as good as a dog. Lu Ming sneered. What did you say? You're looking for death. You dog thing that doesn't know death. The people of the He family were instantly furious. You guys still have the face? Let me ask you, when the evil god tribe invaded, where did your He clan go? In order to protect the Yuan Mountain, the others have risked their lives and fought a bloody battle against the evil god tribe. What about your He clan? You're like a turtle hiding in its shell. When the battle is over, you're out to reap the benefits. Are you still human? Aren't you worse than a dog? Lu Ming's mocking voice rang continuously. He thought of the great emperors fighting to the death, and in the end, Chaos Sky Great Emperor and Skyfire Great Emperor might not even be alive. There were also some other powers who had suffered heavy losses and lost many experts in the war against the evil god tribe. But now, the He clan and the Hun clan had come out to snatch the territories of these powers and even killed the people of these powers. At the thought of this, Lu Ming's anger was burning. What nonsense are you talking about? You're courting death for insulting the He family. You have a sharp tongue. You must die today. The people of the He family shouted one after another. Boom, boom, boom. The people of the He family emitted powerful auras. Lu Ming, I'm telling you, no one can save you today, not even Emperor Notionless. Also, 111 help you take care of your disciple Xiangxiang, he. He Qian sent a voice transmission to Lu Ming. Old dog. Lu Ming's eyes were filled with killing intent. Bus, and NBSP whoosh. At this moment, on the nearby mountain peaks, many figures flew over and landed in front of Lu Ming and the others. They were also exuding powerful auras. There were void emperors and true emperors. These experts came from Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect, and the Xinyuan Empire. And NBSP, they had just wiped out the evil god race and had stayed here for the time being. You think you can stop the He family with your small forces? You're overestimating yourself. Yi Qian sneered. Following that, many figures flickered over from the distance. They were all terrifying experts. More powerhouses from the He clan had arrived. Most of them were at the Martial Emperor realm and some of them were at the True Emperor realm. The number of experts from the He family increased. The terrifying aura suppressed Phoenix Palace. The expressions of the experts from the Divine Elephant Sect changed drastically. The He clan was a great emperor-level force. They were too powerful and had many terrifying existences of the True Emperor realm. It was not something that forces like Phoenix Palace and Divine Elephant Sect could compare to. Today, one will personally take Lu Ming's head. Yi Qian said and stepped forward. His powerful aura locked onto Lu Ming. The true emperors of the Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect and Divine Origin Empire wanted to help, but they were all locked on by the aura of the He clan's true emperor. If they moved, the other party would launch a thunderous attack. Lu Ming's expression was grave. He was locked in place by He Qian's aura and he could not move at all. The true emperor was too strong. He was not someone he could fight against. Lu Ming squinted his eyes and they flickered. He was considering whether he should control the celestial thearch's physical body. Let's see how you're going to kill him. At this time, a figure flickered over. A bunch of things worse than pigs and dogs. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2008. A bunch of things worse than pigs and dogs. A figure landed in front of Lu Ming and cut off He Qian's aura. The pressure on Lu Ming was instantly lifted. Senior ice screen. Lu Ming's gaze flickered. The figure was Qiu Yue's master Bing Mu. If you want to attack, then it'll kill you as well. Box novel. Calm. He Qian was incomparably overbearing. His palm was like a blade as he slashed down at the ice screen, wanting to destroy it. Ice seal. The ice curtain stretched out a finger and pointed. Instantly, with the finger of the ice curtain as the center, endless ice spread out as if it could freeze everything. The temperature between heaven and earth dropped rapidly. A terrifying cold qi not only sealed He Qian's blade light in ice, but also spread towards He Qian. Break, die. He Qian roared, and the power of his world erupted. A terrifying power blasted toward the cold qi. However, wherever the cold air passed, even the world power of the ice curtain was frozen. The terrifying cold air enveloped He Qian. In a flash, an ice mountain appeared in the sky, and He Qian was sealed in ice. One move to seal a true emperor in ice, shocking everyone. He Qian's shocked expression could be seen through the ice mountain. He didn't seem to have expected that he would be frozen by the ice curtain. Let's attack together. The true emperors of the He clan roared and attacked the ice mountain together. Boom. The ice mountain exploded and He Qian appeared. He retreated frantically, his face pale and his body covered in a layer of frost. This person's cultivation level is very high. Let's attack together and kill her. He Qian roared. At the same time he circulated the power of the world to dispel the cold energy on his body. The several true emperors of the He clan attacked at the same time. The combined attack of the true emperors was terrifying, but the ice screen wasn't afraid at all. It pointed its finger out continuously and the ice qi spread out. It actually blocked all the attacks from the true emperors. So strong. Lu Ming was secretly shocked. The ice curtain was very powerful. The true emperors from the He family weren't ordinary true emperors. They were experts among the true emperors, but they were still blocked by the ice curtain. No wonder the ice curtain dared to attack the Daluo Heaven sect alone. After exchanging dozens of blows, the He clan's true emperor was unable to do anything to the ice barrier and retreated with an unsightly expression. You are the ice curtain of the only holy temple. Someone from the He family recognized the ice curtain and said seriously. Not bad. The ice curtain didn't deny it. Ice curtain, are you sure you want to be the enemy of the He family? It's not good for your only temple. He Qian said coldly. The He clan is an emperor-level force, but they mobilized so many experts just because some emperor-to-be couldn't defeat a few juniors. Don't you feel ashamed? Ice curtain mocked. Many people of the He family looked upset. It was true that some of the emperor-to-be elders in the great emperor-level force were no match for Lu Ming, a junior. Therefore, the He family sent so many martial emperor powerhouses to deal with Lu Ming. It was indeed a laughable act. Do you think that the He family sent so many experts and mobilized so many people because of this? A true emperor from the He clan said indifferently. Many people's expressions changed. Could it be that the He family had come here for other matters? Lu Ming, you impersonated a member of the He family and killed the disciples of the Hung family. Then, you impersonated a member of the Hung family and killed the disciples of the He family. You incited a war between the He family and the Hung family and caused the He family to suffer heavy losses. You deserve to die 10,000 times for your crime. A true emperor of the He clan said coldly. What? Many people were shocked. Such a thing actually happened? Back then, many people had heard about the war between the He clan and the Hung clan. The reason was that the true emperor expert of the He clan, He Qian, had embezzled one of the Hung clan's treasures. The Hung clan had been indignant and sent experts to kill the disciples of the He clan. The He family retaliated by sending experts to kill the Hung family's disciples. Because of this, the conflict between the two sides was completely aroused, and they started a great war. Could it be that Lu Ming was really the one who did this? Lu Ming controlled the laws of chaos. Other than the kingly laws and the ultimate laws, he could transform them all. In that case, it was possible. Almost everyone's gaze was on Lu Ming. If this was true, Lu Ming's methods were truly shocking. He had single-handedly caused two emperor-level forces to suffer heavy casualties. Lu Ming narrowed his eyes slightly and did not say a word. He already knew that this matter could not be hidden for long. Back then, the Hung family and the He family had fought because the two families had deep conflicts. They were like gunpowder that ignited at the slightest spark. However, as long as both parties calmed down and thought about it carefully, They would discover many loopholes and could easily speculate that it was Lu Ming. Lu Ming, you don't have to deny it. We've speculated in detail and negotiated with the Hung family. This is definitely your doing. A true emperor from the He clan said. Yes, I did it. Lu Ming spoke. Since he had already guessed it, there was no need to deny it. Little bastard, you deserve to die. He Qian shrieked loudly, wishing he could tear Lu Ming into pieces. Lu Ming had actually used his matter to provoke a war between the two races. It was really hateful. That's right, he deserves to die 10,000 times. At this time, a cold voice came from the sky. Then, another group of powerhouses descended. The Heng family. Ice Curtain said in a serious tone. The Heng family is also here. The faces of Huang Ling, Long Chen, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others were extremely ugly. After the He family, the Heng family also arrived. Moreover, the experts from the Heng family weren't any weaker than the He family. How were they going to fight? Lu Ming was the only one who looked calm. Lu Ming, how dare you sow discord and cause the Heng family to suffer heavy losses? You deserve to die 1,000 times. Hand over the Celestial Emperor's sword first, and he'll leave your corpse intact. One of the Hung clan's true emperors said with a cold and arrogant voice. Another bunch of cowardly things that are worse than pigs and dogs. Lu Ming said indifferently. Some people were shocked. In the face of such a situation, Lu Ming still dared to say such things about the Hung family. He was really bold. The Hung family experts were all furious. Lu Ming, you'll suffer a fate worse than death. You'll pay a terrible price for your words. One of the Hung clan's true emperors said coldly. You got angry so easily. It seems that you know how despicable you are, but you refuse to admit it. Once someone pointed it out, you have to suppress the other person with brute force to cover up your vileness and shamelessness. You are just deceiving yourself. Vileness is vileness. Lu Ming said calmly, his voice spreading throughout the entire area. The people from the He family and the Hung family looked extremely upset. When everyone else was fighting against the evil god tribe, they had hidden themselves. After that, they came out to snatch other people's territory. Whether they were despicable or not, they naturally knew it in their hearts. But they would never admit it, and they wouldn't allow anyone else to say it. Once they did, they would die. They were just a bunch of lowly, self-deceiving people. Lu Ming's words were exactly what they were thinking. There were even people from the younger generation of the two families who revealed a look of shame on their faces, but they quickly hid it. Confrontation between two great emperors. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2009. Confrontation between two great emperors. Well said, a group of despicable people who deceive themselves. A voice was heard and the void trembled. Figures flickered and appeared beside Lu Ming and the others. He was a teacher of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. The teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy included both the Void Emperor and the True Emperor. Boom. Box novel. The auras of the teachers from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy clashed with the auras of the experts from the Hung family. A terrifying collision occurred, causing the air to rumble. The commotion here was too shocking and it spread far and wide. Outside the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, many people felt the pressure as heavy as a mountain. They all rose into the air and looked over. The experts of the He clan and Hung clan are confronting the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. It seems to be because of Lu Ming, He clan and Hung clan. They're really shameless. They came out now and even dared to attack the Yuan Mountain Saint Academy. They're just deceiving the two great emperors of the Yuan Mountain Saint Academy and the injured Emperor Wuxia. Many people didn't like the He family and the Hung family, but they kept their voices low for fear of being heard by the experts of the two families. So what if he was unhappy? The He clan and the Hung clan were great emperor-level forces with great emperors in charge. There were even more true emperors and void emperors. It's really lively today. At this moment, a voice came from afar. Then, everyone saw many beams of light cutting through the void like divine swords, flying towards the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Within each rainbow light was a powerhouse with an extremely shocking aura. So strong. There are so many martial sovereigns. Someone exclaimed with a grave expression. When the rainbow light faded, a group of experts descended into the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. They formed a triangular formation with the He and Hung families, surrounding Lu Ming and the rest in the middle. Daluo Heaven Sect. Someone exclaimed and gasped. The people of the Daluo Heaven Sect had also come, another great emperor-level force. Your Daluo Heaven Sect also wants to join in the fun? A teacher from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy spoke. It has nothing to do with you. We're here to kill Lu Ming today. He killed the king body of the Daluo Heaven sect. He must die. A true emperor of the Daluo Heaven sect said coldly. The king physique he was talking about was naturally Luo Pokong. On Lu Ming's side, many people's faces turned even uglier. The Hung family, the He family, and the Daluo Heaven sect were all emperor-level forces. Each of them was extremely powerful and had a deep foundation. Each of them was very terrifying. Now the three major forces were working together to kill Lu Ming. Although there were some experts on Lu Ming's side, in addition to the teachers from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Institute, it was impossible for them to fight against the three major forces. There was a huge difference in power. If they fought, they would probably be completely wiped out. Today, since Lu Ming is in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy will definitely protect him. A teacher from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy said. In that case, he'll destroy the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy as well. A true emperor from the Hung family spoke. His voice was filled with killing intent. Today the three great forces had arrived together, giving them confidence. Even if the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy was at its peak and the three great emperors were present, they wouldn't be afraid. Not to mention there was only one great emperor Wuxia left. The people who were watching from afar were all shocked. If the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy wanted to interfere, they would even want to destroy the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. They were too tyrannical. Why are you talking so much nonsense with them? Directly annihilate them. He Hao shouted, instigating the crowd to attack. Suddenly the powerhouses of the He family, the Heng family, and the Daluo Heaven sect released their power. Their killing intent flashed and they were about to launch a thunderous attack. Prepare for battle. One of the true emperors from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy roared. The experts on Lu Ming's side took out their sovereign weapons and prepared to fight. At this moment, a powerful pressure spread out. Even the true emperor's expression changed drastically when faced with this pressure. It was as if a great disaster was about to befall them. High up in the sky, the void split open, and a figure appeared out of thin air. Emperor Wuxia. Someone said with a grave expression. This figure was none other than Emperor Formless. This is the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. I won't let you touch Lu Ming. You can leave. Emperor Formless spoke in a gentle voice. It wasn't overbearing, but it carried a supreme dignity that no one dared to refute. Wuxiang, I'm afraid you can't protect him today. As soon as Emperor Formless finished speaking, a dignified voice rang out. A figure suddenly appeared in the sky. This figure was shrouded in endless halos, but many people could still tell who it was with a single glance. The great emperor of the Hung clan. The three emperor-level forces had come prepared. Now the great emperor had arrived. He killed my Daluo Heaven sect's king body. No one can save him. Then another voice was heard. This voice was cold and overbearing with a cold killing intent. In another direction, another figure appeared. This figure was shrouded in endless black light. The figure appeared and disappeared, but the strength of the aura was earth-shattering. The great emperor of the Daluo Heaven sect. The emperor of the Daluo Heaven sect was called Emperor Tianluo. The two emperors' auras were extremely powerful. They were like two universes that would never be destroyed. The pressure they gave off was too strong. It's over. Lu Ming is really over today. There's only one great emperor in the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. He can't protect Lu Ming at all. That's right. The great emperor of the He clan has yet to appear. Even if the three great emperors of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy are here, Lu Ming will still be in danger today. Lu Ming is finished today. He's going to die. It's a pity that he's a peerless hero of his generation. In the distance many people sighed. At this moment, many people were on Lu Ming's side. The He family, the Hung family, and the Daluo Heaven sect were too despicable. During the war with the evil god tribe, the three major forces did not appear. Of course they supported Lu Ming in their hearts, but no one would really help him. That would undoubtedly be courting death. However, it was a pity. Then he'll kill you first. Just as Emperor Tianluo appeared, another voice was heard. Then a terrifying sword light flashed. This sword light was too dazzling and incomparably stunning. It came from beyond the sky and split the entire sky into two. Emperor Tianluo's expression changed. With a roar, endless light shot up. He waved his hand and a mysterious aura filled the air. It was the aura of the Great Tao. Great emperors controlled great Taos, the great Taos of heaven and earth. Boom. A huge seal floated in the air. It looked like Luo Kangqiang's divine seal of deprivation, but it was much more brilliant than it. The huge seal flew out and collided with the bright sword radiance. At this moment, The dazzling light was so blinding that many people could not open their eyes. When the light disappeared, an old man appeared in front of Emperor Tianluo. It was a very old man with a walking stick. He looked like an ordinary old man. Uncle Kong. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. It seemed that Uncle Kong had been paying attention to him. Now that Lu Ming was in danger, Uncle Kong still stood up for him. Who is this person? Could it be that the sword light just now was from him? How terrifying. He's also a great emperor, but I've never heard of him before. It seems like they're here to help Lu Ming. There's actually a great emperor behind Lu Ming. Many people looked at Uncle Kong in shock. What did Lu Ming do? If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2010. What did Lu Ming do? On the surface, the number of great emperors in Yuan Mountain could be counted with one's fingers. However, in reality there were definitely more than that. It was normal for Lu Ming to have a great emperor behind him. Old man, it's you. Emperor Tianluo's gaze focused slightly as he looked at Uncle Kong. Lu Ming is the hall master of the Great Yen Elixir Hall. He'll kill you if you dare to touch him. Box novel. Calm, Uncle Kong said slowly, but his voice was filled with killing intent. Many people were shocked. This old man was really overbearing and powerful. Since the Emperor of Tianluo wanted to kill Lu Ming, he would kill the Emperor of Tianluo. Could it be that this old man was that powerful? Kill me? Even if you were at your peak, you might not be able to defeat me. Now that you're still injured, are you my match? Emperor Tianluo sneered. Back then, in the battle with the evil god tribe, in order to send the evil god tribe's great emperor into the world-gazing gate, a few great emperors had been injured. Great emperor experts were protected by great Daos, so it was usually difficult for them to be injured. However, once they were injured, it was very difficult to recover. During this period of time, the Holy Emperor and the others were all in seclusion to heal. However, Uncle Kong and Emperor Formless injuries hadn't fully recovered in the past few months, and their battle power wasn't at their peak. This was why the Emperor of Tianluo had said this. Despicable. The few emperors were injured in the battle with the evil god tribe, but they're here to take advantage of us. Desolate Li couldn't help but shout angrily. Emperor Tianluo's gaze turned to Desolate Li and a cold light flashed across his eyes. Desolate Li was fearless as he glared at Emperor Tianluo. Bus. Uncle Kong didn't say anything more. He directly unsheathed his sword and it howled through the 9 heavens. At this moment, Uncle Kong revealed a peerless sharpness. He turned from a bearded old man into a peerless swordsman. Boom. The Emperor of Tianluo didn't dare to be careless in front of Uncle Kong, even though he was injured. He circulated his power to the extreme, and a huge seal floated above his head. I'm afraid the two of you can't save Lu Ming. At this moment, a cold voice was heard. A figure was floating above the heads of the He family experts. Many people's hearts trembled. He was the great emperor of the He clan. The great emperor of the He clan had indeed appeared. The experts from the 3 emperor-level forces were 3 emperors. Lu Ming was really finished today. The great emperor Formless and the nameless great emperor. Lu Ming's side had 2 great emperors, but they definitely couldn't stop the other side's 3 great emperors. Moreover, there were so many experts from the 3 major forces. On Lu Ming's side, if the great emperor did not come to his aid, he would be dead for sure. Many people sighed. Boom. Emperor Notionless erupted with an extremely powerful aura. However, Emperor Heng also erupted with his aura and locked onto Emperor Notionless, preventing him from helping Lu Ming. You're great emperors, yet you still need several people to work together against a junior. You're really disgracing great emperors. Emperor Wuxia said. Lu Ming has to pay the price for sowing discord. Also, today dealing with Lu Ming is secondary. There's one more thing one want to tell you, Wuxia. From now on, the Heavenly Emperor City belongs to the He clan, the Hung clan, and the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Wuxia, you'd better leave the Heavenly Emperor City. The great emperor of the He clan said coldly. What? Many people were furious when they heard this, especially Lu Ming and the others from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. They were furious. The Hung clan and the He clan wanted to take the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy for themselves. The word despicable simply couldn't be used to describe their actions. Aha, what bullshit emperor. One think you are just a few old dogs, shameless old dogs. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly and burst out laughing. Hearing this, the 3 emperors narrowed their eyes and looked at Lu Ming with sharp eyes. The other people from the 3 forces were furious. Lu Ming, what did you just say? You dare to insult the great emperor? You're courting death. The other members of the He and Hung families roared. Am I wrong? The way one see it, the 3 emperors from your 3 clans are even inferior to the evil god race. In order to protect the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, the 3 great emperors and a few other great emperors risked their lives and fought a bloody battle. The fate of Great Emperor Tianhua and Great Emperor Hun Tian is unknown. The other great emperors were injured because of this, but you guys took advantage of the situation. Not only are you afraid of death, but you also want to seize the territory of those who fought a bloody battle with the evil god tribe. What are you if not dogs? No, I was wrong. Even dogs are loyal. It's an insult to dogs to describe you as dogs. Lu Ming sneered continuously. He only felt a ball of fire burning in his chest. Many people's eyes were filled with anger, while the people from the He family, the Heng family, and the Daoyuo Heaven sect glared at Lu Ming with red faces. Humph, you speak so righteously as if you've also made a great contribution. Lu Ming, what are you doing now that the evil god tribe is invading? A young man from the He and Heng families couldn't help but ask. I've fought a bloody battle with the evil god tribe, Lu Ming said loudly. Fighting a bloody battle is a nice way to put it, but it's just an opportunity to kill a few random soldiers. What's the use of it for the overall situation? Don't put yourself so high. A young man from the He family mocked. Hee, it's true that like ancestors like descendants. At this moment, Emperor Formless laughed coldly with a hint of mockery. Then, his voice suddenly rose. Then, he'll tell you what Lu Ming did in the war with the evil god tribe today. Lu Ming was the one who sealed the void passageway that the evil god tribe opened. Emperor Formless' voice was loud and clear. Like a gust of wind, it blew in all directions and spread throughout the entire Heavenly Emperor city. What? Lu Ming is the one who sealed the void channel. How is that possible? How is it possible with Lu Ming's cultivation? Many people had incredulous expressions on their faces. That's impossible. You're clearly trying to elevate Lu Ming's status on purpose. With Lu Ming's cultivation level, how is it possible? Who would believe such a thing? Someone from the Heng family, and the Daoyuo Heaven sect immediately retorted the emperor. Lu Ming used the chaos laws to revive an ancient chaos stone disk. In the battle to seal the void passageway, it was us who helped Lu Ming and finally succeeded in sealing the void passageway. I swear in the name of the great emperor that this matter is absolutely true. If it wasn't for Lu Ming, the Yuan Mountain would still be in the midst of war. And now, they want to kill those who have contributed. Are you all going to do nothing? Emperor Formless' voice spread throughout Heavenly Emperor City. He didn't say this to the Heng family, the He family, or the Daoyuo Heaven sect, but to the other people in the Heavenly Emperor City. The gazes of many people changed. Emperor Formless spoke in the name of a great emperor, so there was no way he was wrong. He didn't expect that so many things had happened behind the scenes during the decisive battle. He didn't expect that the greatest contributor was actually Lu Ming, but Lu Ming had never brought this up to talk about. If it weren't for the 3 major forces forcing him to reveal the truth today, no one would have known. And now, the 3 great factions were going to kill the evil god race's greatest contributor to the war. Bus, bus, bus. Some people flashed and appeared behind Lu Ming and the rest, releasing powerful auras. Chapter 2011 Fighting a Great Emperor. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2011. Chapter 2011 Fighting a Great Emperor. With a flash, many people joined Lu Ming's team. There were even true emperors and void emperors. They released their auras and helped Lu Ming and the rest to fight against the people from the 3 major forces. A bunch of small fries who think they can change the outcome of the Bartai. Emperor Tianluo said coldly. Wuxiang, you've said so much just to find a few more helpers, but what's the use of a group of small fish? Make your move and kill Lu Ming. Kill anyone who blocks your way. Box novel. Calm. The emperor of the Heng clan spoke. Boom. Emperor Heng's aura exploded, and his powerful aura locked onto Emperor Formless. At that moment, RHE auras of the powerhouses from the 3 major forces locked onto everyone except Lu Ming. Whoever makes a move, lull Lu Ming. The great emperor of the He clan spoke coldly. I'll kill him. From the He family, a middle-aged man who looked to be in his 50s stepped out. Flist's terrifying aura swept towards Lu Ming like a tide. This person was called He Qian. He was a small emperor void emperor. He had just broken through to the small emperor realm and was a 1-star void emperor. With such a good opportunity, he wanted to show off in front of the great emperor He. Perhaps, the great emperor He would reward him handsomely. Martial Emperor. Huang Ling, Long Qin, Luo Tianyi and the others were shocked. The teachers of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, the Phoenix Palace, the Divine Elephant Sect, and the ice curtain all changed their expressions. They wanted to attack, but they found that they had all been locked on. The auras of the experts from the three major forces were locked on them. As long as they moved, they would be attacked by lightning. Moreover, the ones who were staring at them were very powerful. Bus. Uncle Kong moved and his sword Qi whistled. A terrifying sword light was about to slash at He Qian. "Old man, your opponent is me," Emperor Tianluo shouted. The seal trembled and shot out a beam of divine light, blocking Uncle Kong's sword light. Then the seal trembled and charged toward Uncle Kong. The sword Qi whistled as the battle between Uncle Kong and the Emperor of Tianluo broke out. The two exchanged a few moves before rushing into the dark void. Boom. At the same time, Emperor Formless and Emperor Heng exchanged a blow, and the two of them stood in confrontation from a distance. Emperor Formless couldn't spare any time to rescue him. He was originally a bit stronger than the Hung clan's emperor, and he had won the last time they had fought. However, he was still heavily injured and might be at a disadvantage against the emperor of the Hung family. Bang! Bang! He Qian stepped in the air. With every step he took, the air trembled. His aura grew stronger and stronger, like a storm pressing down on Lu Ming. He was like a giant looking down on Lu Ming. "Lu Ming, it's your honor to die in my hands. Kill." He Qian's palm was like a knife as he slashed at Lu Ming. A white blade light filled with coldness caused the temperature to drop sharply. "Fight. 11 die." Lu Ming shouted and took a step forward. The aura in his body surged wildly, and all the saint power in his body gathered at the tip of his finger. Then he pointed. The energy between heaven and earth gathered at Lu Ming's fingertips in a frenzy. Then, a finger force that had been condensed to the extreme burst out and collided with He Yan's saber light. Ding! Ding! A sharp collision sound rang out and the force rolled in all directions. He Qian's saber light actually shattered and turned into nothing. It was blocked. Many people couldn't help but widen their eyes. The martial emperor's attack was actually blocked by Lu Ming. The most shocking thing was that Lu Ming did not even take a step back after blocking the other party's attack. Such terrifying combat strength, many people exclaimed in admiration. He Qian's eyes were filled with anger. Although he did not use his full strength in the previous move, Lu Ming was unscathed after that move. He did not even retreat. He felt that he had lost face. Moreover, he glanced around and found that the patriarch of the He family looked gloomy. His heart sank immediately. Could it be that the great emperor of the He clan had a bad impression of him? Damn it. It's all Lu Ming's fault. I'm going to tear him into pieces. He Qian roared in his heart, his eyes revealing an ice-cold lulling intent. Kill, die. He Qian shouted as the martial emperor's world energy circulated wildly. His palm turned into a dazzling saber light and slashed out with a howl, shaking the heavens and earth. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed slightly. He moved his body, advancing instead of retreating, and rushed towards He Qian. Boom. Boom. Lu Ming continued to punch and pieces of illusionary prison-suppressing steels appeared, clashing with He Qian's saber light. The shadow of the prison-suppressing steel shattered, but the blade light was also blocked. The long song of the 4 seasons. After failing to take down Lu Ming in a few consecutive moves, He Qian was a little anxious and used the He family's divine skill, the Song of the 4 Seasons. The momentum of his saber instantly changed. At first it was like the snow of winter, then it turned into the thick feeling of spring, and in the next moment, it was like the scorching sun in the sky, unbearably hot. The saber's momentum changed and its power increased greatly. It shattered the prison-suppressing steel that Lu Ming had condensed in the void, and the saber light continued to attack Lu Ming. Lu Ming retreated continuously. Kill. As soon as Lu Ming retreated, He Qian's saber momentum became even fiercer and swept toward Lu Ming frantically. Chi-chi. At that moment, Lu Ming cast the Chaos Finger of Tribulation. He pointed several times with his right hand and the force of his fingers collided with He Qian's saber radiance. Countless runes appeared on Lu Ming's left hand. A true dragon roared and pounced toward He Qian. Small tricks, attack. He Qian shouted. A blade light burst out and destroyed the true dragon. However, the true dragon turned into countless runes and spread towards He Qian, trying to seal him. The combined power of 3 of the 9 scrolls of Array Dao was indeed very profound. He Qian's expression changed slightly, and the power of the world burst forth, shattering the endless runes. Next, the two of them exchanged more than a dozen moves. He Qian was indeed very powerful. Although he had broken through to the Void Emperor realm not long ago, he was still a martial emperor after all. His combat strength far exceeded that of an emperor to be. Every move contained the power of the world and was extremely powerful. Lu Ming relied on the use of two types of laws and barely managed to block it. But even so, everyone was shocked. Lu Ming was only an absolute saint, he had not even reached the perfection of the absolute saint realm. He was only at the peak of the absolute saint realm, but he could fight with a martial emperor and even block him. This was too shocking. Many powerhouses of the He family, the Hung family, and the Daoyuo Heaven sect were all shocked. With Lu Ming's combat strength, what kind of combat strength would he have when he broke through to the Void Emperor realm or even the True Emperor realm? What if he broke through to the Great Emperor realm? When they thought of this, their hearts were filled with a chill. Even the eyes of the emperors from the He family, the Hung family, and the Tianluo Heavenly Emperor were filled with coldness. The more talented Lu Ming was, the more he deserved to die. Since the start of the battle, He Qin had not managed to take down Lu Ming. He was getting more and more impatient. Initially he would not have done this given his character. The main reason was that he could not accept the fact that he could not take down Lu Ming after so many moves despite being a martial emperor. His saber momentum became fiercer and fiercer, and he could not wait to cut Lu Ming into 8 pieces. Destruction. Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. At this moment, Lu Ming suddenly pointed his finger. This finger was Lu Ming's strongest killing move. It was the initial fusion of the Array Dao laws and the Chaos laws. Chapter 2012 Slaying an Emperor with a Single Strike. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2012. Chapter 2012 Slaying an Emperor with a Single Strike. Lu Ming cast his strongest move. A huge Chaos Finger of Tribulation was formed, covered with Array Dao runes. The initial fusion of the Annihilation Scroll and the Chaos Finger of Tribulation. Bang, bang. And NBSP, the Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger, struck out, shattering He Qian's blade light with unstoppable force. He Qian's expression changed drastically as he roared. A world seemed to emerge from his body as he slashed out with his blade. The blade light seemed to contain a world. Box novel. Kamboom. The Chaos Finger Tribulation was finally destroyed by He Qian, but He Qian's figure was pushed back 10 miles. The martial emperor had been forced to retreat by Lu Ming. Many people gasped and were too shocked to speak. He was only at the peak of the absolute saint realm, but he was able to defeat a martial emperor. No one would believe this. This kind of battle result could scare people to death. All damn it. He Qian roared. He had lost all his face today. Even if he could kill Lu Ming, it would become a stain in his life and even a demon in his heart. This is the He clan's martial sovereign? Just this little bit of combat power? As expected, he's worse than a pig or a dog. Not only does he have a bad character, but his combat strength is also poor. Lu Ming sneered. You? He Qian was so angry that his chest heaved up and down and he almost vomited blood. Calm down. He's provoking you on purpose. Use all your strength to kill him and wash away your shame. A voice entered He Qian's ears. It was the voice of the great emperor of the He clan. The voice of the He clan's great emperor seemed to have a magical power that calmed He Qian's heart. He understood that he had been too impatient just now and had not used all of his combat strength. Buzz. A saber appeared in his hand. The saber radiance pierced through the air and was extremely sharp. With the infusion of He Qian's world power, the saber's might grew stronger and stronger. The terrifying saber aura continued to press toward Lu Ming. This was a monarch weapon. The power of a sovereign weapon controlled by a martial emperor was completely different from that of someone under the martial emperor realm. Only a martial sovereign could unleash the full power of a sovereign weapon. Boom. A world was floating above He Qian's body. This world clearly hadn't finished its evolution. It was filled with chaos, but it still gave people a terrifying pressure. Kill? He Qian shouted and slashed down with his saber. The power of this blade was much stronger than before. Lu Ming's eyes narrowed. He circulated his cultivation to the extreme and pointed his finger. It was still destruction. Primal Chaos Tribulation Finger. However, this time, the finger of tribulation of chaos was shattered when the saber light slashed down. A terrifying force rushed toward Lu Ming, forcing him to retreat rapidly. This is the true strength of a martial emperor. Lu Ming suppressed the boiling blood in his body and muttered in his heart. His strength was still slightly inferior to a martial emperor's. If he could reach the perfected absolute saint realm, he would be confident of fighting He Qian. It seems that Lu Ming is still no match for them. A martial emperor is a martial emperor after all. Lu Ming is only at the peak of the absolute saint realm. The difference is too great. However, it's already terrifying enough that Lu Ming can fight a martial supreme to this extent. Some people were discussing. Lu Ming, one won't let you die so easily. I'll let you die from pain. He Qian approached Lu Ming step by step, his cold voice ringing in Lu Ming's ears. I was just playing with you earlier. Now one can send you on your way. At this moment, Lu Ming smiled faintly and a murderous intent burst out from his eyes. Just now he had fought with all his strength just to test his limit. Many people were stunned. What did Lu Ming mean by this? Could it be that he wanted to kill He Qian? Send me on my way? Aha, you're really shameless. You want to anger me with this, right? Unfortunately, I can't let you have it. Kill. Die. He Qian shouted. His body burst with brilliant light. His entire person seemed to have fused with the saber in his hand, turning into a terrifying saber light that charged at Lu Ming. The saber light tore through the air and the space howled. It was terrifying and shocking. Many people's hearts were in their throats. Perhaps Lu Ming was going to die under this knife. In an instant, the saber light approached Lu Ming. Not good. At this moment, Feng Ling, Long Chen and the others were shocked. At that moment, the powerhouses of Phoenix Palace, Divine Elephant Sect, Ice Curtain, and the others wanted to help. However, the powerhouses of the He family, the Heng family, and the Daluo Heaven Sect flashed and blocked their way. Master! Lu Xiangxiang shouted and wanted to rush over, but one of the experts on the other side burst forth with energy, and Lu Xiangxiang's figure was sent flying. Just when everyone thought that Lu Ming was going to be killed by this slash, they saw a sword gleam. Sword light shone from Lu Ming's hands and slashed at the saber light that He Qian had transformed into. Then an unbelievable scene appeared. The sword light slashed and the saber light was cut in half. Bang! The saber light broke and shattered. Then everyone saw He Qian's figure retreating frantically. He retreated 100 miles away, his eyes wide open as he glared at Lu Ming. Lu Ming. He Qian spat out these two words with difficulty. Then, a line of blood appeared between his eyebrows and quickly spread to his entire body. Selah. He Qian's body was split into two and fell to the ground. He was dead. He Qian was dead. The scene fell into a deathly silence. Just now, He Qian clearly had the absolute advantage and was about to kill Lu Ming with one slash. Everyone thought that Lu Ming was in grave danger. But why was He Qian the one who died? Celestial Emperor's Sword. You can actually control the Celestial Emperor's Sword. One of the Hung family's true emperors shouted. Everyone's gaze was on Lu Ming's hand. Lu Ming was holding a stone sword in his hand. The Celestial Emperor's Sword. Many people's hearts trembled. Lu Ming could actually control the Celestial Emperor's Sword and unleash its power, killing He Qian with one strike. How could a mere absolute saint control the Celestial Emperor's Sword and exert its power? Naturally, they did not know that Lu Ming had the cultivation technique to control the Celestial Emperor's body. The Celestial Emperor's Sword had fused with the Celestial Emperor's body. Now, the energy stored in the Celestial Emperor's body had reached 12%. If Lu Ming could control the Celestial Emperor's body, he could naturally control the Celestial Emperor's Sword as well. Just now, Lu Ming had controlled the Celestial Emperor's Sword and easily killed He Xiao. Who else wants to kill me? Lu Ming held the stone sword and glanced at the He family, the Hung family, and the Daluo Heaven Sect. Humph, you're just an absolute saint. Do you think you're invincible just because you can barely use a trace of the power of the Celestial Emperor's Sword? The Celestial Emperor's Sword should belong to the Hung family. Hand it over. An expert from the Hung family stepped out, and his terrifying aura pressed toward Lu Ming. A martial supreme. This person was also a small emperor, Void Emperor. However, this person's aura was many times stronger than He Qian's. He was probably an expert even among the Void Emperors. If you want the Celestial Emperor's Sword, then come and take it. Lu Ming held his sword and faced the powerful man from the Hung family. Boom. From a distance, the Hung family's powerhouse reached out his palm and grabbed at Lu Ming. Chapter 2013 Sword pointed at He Qian. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2013. Chapter 2013 Sword pointed at He Qian. The powerful man from the Hung family was very cautious. He attacked from a distance. He reached out a hand and grabbed at Lu Ming. A huge claw formed and grabbed at Lu Ming. Kill! Lu Ming shouted, holding the sword with both hands and slashed down. A ray of sword light, like a crescent moon, slashed forward at an astonishing speed. Wherever the sword light passed, a dark crack appeared in the space. Box novel. The huge hand formed by the Hung family expert was cut in half by the sword light. However, the sword light did not stop and continued to attack the Hung family expert. Fast, it was too fast, so fast that the other party had no reaction. Quickly retreat. The emperor from the Hung family roared, but it was too late. Puchi. Blood splattered everywhere as the Hung family's expert was cut in half. His soul naturally vanished in the sword light. He had killed another martial sovereign. Moreover, this person was not someone He Qian could compare to. He was an expert among the Void Emperors, but he still could not block Lu Ming's sword. Many people looked at the stone sword in Lu Ming's hand with deep respect. Of course, there were also people who looked greedy. Lu Ming was only an absolute saint, but he could control the sword and unleash such terrifying power. What if a martial emperor controlled it? Damn it! How audacious! The other Hung family members reacted and roared. Haha, well done. Emperor Formless laughed loudly, causing the Hung family's emperor to have an ugly expression. Who else is here to kill me? The stone sword in Lu Ming's hand was pointed at the Hung family. The Hung family powerhouses all had unsightly expressions. They were filled with killing intent, anger, and fear. They did not know to what extent Lu Ming could wield the Celestial Emperor's sword. Therefore no one dared to step forward. Didn't you all come to kill me just now? Now you've become a good-for-nothing? Lu Ming then pointed the stone sword at the Daluo Heaven sect, which made the people of the Daluo Heaven sect look terrible. But still no one walked out. Finally, Lu Ming pointed the stone sword at the He family. He Qian, old dog, come out and face your death. Lu Ming shouted, his killing intent bursting forth. Today he wanted to offer He Qian's head as a sacrifice to the Ice Dragon Valley Master. He Qian's face darkened. Many people were shocked. Lu Ming wanted to challenge He Qian. He Qian was a true emperor. Even among the true emperors, He Qian was not weak. He was considered an expert. With Lu Ming's cultivation base at the Absolute Saint realm and his control of the Celestial Emperor sword, could he really fight with He Qian, an old true emperor? He Qian, I challenge you. If you don't dare to accept the challenge, just say it. Lu Ming said loudly, his voice full of mockery. Little bastard, you should die. He Qian roared in his heart. He wished he could kill Lu Ming with a slap. However, he was not confident and even felt a little scared when facing Lu Ming, who was holding the Celestial the Arch Sword. He didn't want to die. He still wanted to survive the Great Tribulation and live carefreely for hundreds of thousands of years. But now Lu Ming, a junior, challenged him. If he did not accept the challenge, he would definitely lose face, not just him but also the He family. Now he was riding a tiger and couldn't stop. It seems that the He family is really cowards. They only know how to bully people with their power and use their absolute advantage to suppress others. Once the other party shows a trace of threat, they immediately run away. It's simply embarrassing. Lu Ming continued, his mocking tone growing stronger. The faces of the He family members turned red and they felt extremely humiliated. He Qian, make your move and kill him. The great emperor of the He clan stood with his hands behind his back and glanced at He Qian. He Qian's face immediately turned pale. Obviously, the great emperor of the He clan was furious. He had no choice but to obey the words of the great emperor of the He clan. Little bastard, he'll let you die an ugly death. He Qian's face was gloomy. He took a step forward and the world divine light around him enveloped him. At the same time, several sovereign weapons floated around him. Among them, there were a few defensive monarch weapons that were protecting him. Aha, you're really afraid of death. You're facing an absolute Saint Junior, but you've already wrapped yourself like a turtle shell before you even start fighting. Desolately laughed. Did you see that? That's what a coward is. Wang Ling also spoke. A bunch of damned little bastards. He Qian roared in his heart. Being ridiculed in public by a few juniors, even if his skin was thick enough, he could not help but blush. Kill? He turned his anger into killing intent and took out a monarch weapon. The monarch weapon flew through the air and attacked Lu Ming. He still did not dare to get too close to Lu Ming. He controlled the sovereign weapon and attacked Lu Ming, intending to test the waters. Whoosh! It was a small silver knife. It cut through the void at an astonishing speed and its power was even more terrifying. However, this saber move could easily kill any Void Emperor expert. Buzz! The Celestial the Arch Sword in Lu Ming's hand trembled. Lu Ming took advantage of the situation and slashed out. Clang! The stone sword clashed with the small silver knife, emitting a terrifying buzz. The small silver knife trembled and was sent flying. It's nothing more than this. He Qian's eyes lit up. He felt that although the Celestial Emperor's sword was powerful, it was not too exaggerated. He could completely block it. However, he was still worried. He controlled the small silver knife and turned it into a silver bolt of lightning, charging toward Lu Ming. Clang, clang. The celestial the arch sword in Lu Ming's hands slashed out continuously, colliding with the small silver knife. After more than 10 consecutive collisions, the small silver knife would be sent flying every time. However, Lu Ming's figure also took a few steps back. "You're just SOSO die." Yi Qian was finally relieved. He moved and pounced toward Lu Ming. A terrifying saber light burst out from Yi Qian's hand and slashed at Lu Ming. Retreat. Many true emperors and void emperors protected those with weaker cultivation and retreated rapidly. Yi Qian's combat power was really strong. If he used his full power, a large area would be enveloped by him, and it would be difficult to stand. Good. A cold glint flashed in Lu Ming's eyes. He circulated the cultivation technique that controlled the celestial thearch's physical body. More energy burst out from the celestial the arch sword. Bus, bus. The celestial emperor's sword trembled continuously, and a layer of terrifying fluorescent light appeared on the body of the sword. Following that, Lu Ming swung his sword and a shocking sword gleam burst out. A sword that glinted 19 prefectures. The sword light slashed down and collided with Yi Qian's saber light. Boom. A dazzling light burst out, and the endless saber radiance and sword chi swept in all directions. The entire sky was shaking crazily. Bang. Then, the saber light shattered while the terrifying sword light struck the defensive monarch weapon around Yi Qian. The violent force sent Yi Qian flying like a cannonball, his face pale. "You didn't use your full strength just now." Yi Qian shouted in fear. "Old dog die." Lu Ming held the stone sword and seemed to have become one with it. The power in the stone sword gushed into his body. He took a step forward and caught up with Yi Qian, slashing down with the sword again. Yi Qian roared and exploded with all his strength. The power of the world surged wildly and fought against Lu Ming. However, when Lu Ming's sword slashed down, He Xiao was sent flying again. Chapter 2014 Rockman appears if audio player doesn't work. Press stop then play button again. Chapter 2014. Chapter 2014 Rockman appears. Bang. Yi Qian was sent flying. Lu Ming's figure quickly followed and the celestial emperor's sword continued to slash. At this moment, the energy erupting from the celestial emperor's sword had already surpassed Yi Qian's. Many people were shocked. The power of the celestial emperor's sword was too terrifying. Just now it did not even unleash its full power. Now that it was unleashed, it actually suppressed Yi Qian. The stone sword buzzed and its sword chi was shocking. It continued to slash down at Yi Qian. Box novel. Calm. Yi Qian gritted his teeth and controlled the monarch weapon. The small silver blade enlarged rapidly and he slashed out with it. Clang. The stone sword and the silver saber clashed, causing sparks to fly. A hole appeared on the silver saber, but there was no trace of it on the stone sword. Yi Qian was forced to retreat. Lu Ming followed closely behind and slashed his combat sword again. Yi Qian could only wave his saber to block. Clang, clang, clang. The two of them kept clashing and the sky rumbled. The two figures exchanged more than a dozen moves in an instant, and their speed was astonishing. Those with weaker cultivation could only see two afterimages. Bang. After more than a dozen moves, the silver saber in Yi Qian's hand shattered into pieces, flying everywhere. A true emperor weapon was broken just like that. Bus. Lu Ming swung his sword again. Yi Qian could not care less about his heartache and controlled a sovereign weapon shield to block it. Thump. Yet another loud boom rang out as the emperor weapon shield was struck by a terrifying force and slammed heavily onto Yi Qian's body. Yi Qian let out a blood-curdling shriek as he coughed out a mouthful of blood. Die. Lu Ming roared and manically activated the energy in the stone sword. The light on the stone sword grew brighter and its power became greater. Yi Qian's expression changed drastically as if he felt a fatal crisis. His figure flickered wildly as he charged towards the He clan Great Emperor. "Great Emperor, save me!" Yi Qian roared. However, in the next moment, Lu Ming turned into a flash of sword light and charged at Yi Qian at an astonishing speed. After the stone sword left the celestial thearch's body, it was under Lu Ming's control. Although its power was shocking, it was limited. At this time, Lu Ming had pushed it to its limit. This sword was enough to threaten Yi Qian. However, right at this moment, the great emperor of the He clan frowned and suddenly took a step forward. Boom. Because of this step, the wind and clouds in the sky changed. A giant foot stepped down from the sky, stomping toward Lu Ming. Despicable. Huang Ling, Long Chen and the others roared. As a great emperor, not only did he attack Lu Ming, an absolute saint, but he also attacked Lu Ming when he was fighting with someone else. He was too despicable. Boom, boom, boom. The giant foot was completely made of energy. It was like the foot of a god. As it descended from the sky, Lu Ming felt that the space around him had frozen. The terrifying pressure made it difficult for Lu Ming to breathe. Slash! Lu Ming shouted. He held the sword with both hands and slashed at the giant foot. Boom! An earth-shattering boom was heard. Lu Ming's sword gleam only lasted for a short while before it collapsed under the giant foot. The giant foot continued to stomp down at an astonishing speed. Lu Ming held his sword horizontally in front of him. Thump! The giant foot stepped on the stone sword, and Lu Ming fell to the ground like a meteorite. Boom! The ground within a radius of thousands of miles trembled and cracks that looked like cobwebs appeared. A deep, pitch-black pit appeared where Lu Ming had landed, its depth unfathomable. Lu Ming, Huang Ling, Long Qin and the rest trembled in their hearts. How was Lu Ming? Lu Ming had exchanged a blow with the great emperor. That was a great emperor. If the heavenly emperor didn't appear, the great emperor would be at the peak. In the entire Yuan mountain, how many people could take a single move from a great emperor? Even a peak true emperor would die. Master. Lu Xiangxiang's eyes were already filled with tears and she was on the verge of tears. Boom. Within the endless dark void, a violent disturbance could be heard. The sword howls could be heard without end. That was Uncle Kong. Uncle Kong was still fighting against Emperor Tianluo. Countless gazes looked at the pitch-black cave. Was Lu Ming dead? Even if the great emperor didn't use much of his strength, he would probably be dead after a head-on clash with the great emperor. Bus. He Qin arrived above the cave and revealed a ferocious smile. Little bastard, so what if you have the celestial emperor's sword? After all, you're just an ant at the absolute saint realm. You don't know your place if you want to fight with my He family. Yihao sneered. An absolute saint realm ant? Who was the one that was beaten up by an absolute saint realm ant? Huang Ling said sarcastically. Little girl, you have a sharp tongue. It'll make you regret what you're saying later. He Xiao glanced at Feng Ling coldly. Then the power of the world gathered and formed a spear, which was thrown into the dark cave. Whoosh! The spear flew into the dark cave like a stone sinking into the sea. He Qian's expression changed and his body landed again. His eyes were filled with radiance as if he wanted to see clearly what was below. Boom, boom, boom. At this moment, the ground suddenly began to shake and let out a deep rumble, as if a peerless beast had awakened from the depths of the earth. Quickly retreat. The expression of the He clan's great emperor suddenly changed as he roared. He Gao's heart trembled, he was about to soar into the sky. Boom. The ground exploded and smoke and dust filled the air. An incomparably huge hand emerged from the depths of the ground and grabbed at He Qian. This giant hand was made of stone. It was huge and boundless, covering the sky and emitting a terrifying aura. With a single grab, it sealed off all of He Qian's escape routes. He Qian was frightened and wanted to escape, but he found that he had no way to escape. He was like a crawling worm that was about to be caught. Boom. At this moment, the He clan's great emperor made his move. With a palm strike, a huge palm print slammed down towards the giant stone hand. He wanted to save He Qian. However, the ground rumbled again as another giant stone hand stretched out and punched at the great emperor of the He clan. Boom. The giant stone hand shattered the palm print of the great emperor of the He clan. Buzz. When the giant hand closed in, He Qian erupted madly, but it was of no use. He was caught by the giant stone hand. Boom, boom, boom. The ground rumbled and then collapsed. An extremely huge stone man rushed out from the ground. This is Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. Someone shouted in shock. Here, many people had entered the Lotus world, entered the Ninth world, and seen the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body. In the beginning, Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was controlled by the Eternal Star River. However, later on, when the Void Passageway appeared, Celestial Emperor's corporeal body and sword flew away to suppress the Void Passageway, and then they disappeared. He did not expect to appear here. Could it be that Lu Ming had obtained the Celestial Thearch's body? However, why was it Lu Ming and not the galaxy? In the beginning, wasn't the Celestial Thearch's body controlled by the galaxy? The experts of the Hung family, especially the Emperor, had bright lights in their eyes. The people on Lu Ming's side were stunned. They could not figure out how Lu Ming had turned into a stone golem and rushed out after being blasted into the depths of the earth. He Qian, I said that you must die today. The giant golem's voice was buzzing, but from the tone, it was clearly Lu Ming. Many people were dumbfounded. Lu Ming and the celestial thearch's physical body had fused into one. Killing He Qian, battling the great emperor. If audio player doesn't work, press stop then play button again. Chapter 2015. Killing He Qian, battling the great emperor. He Qian was gripped in Lu Ming's hand. He was terrified. He struggled frantically trying to break free. However, this was the celestial thearch's physical body. No matter how he struggled, it was useless. Release him. The He clan's great emperor looked at Lu Ming, or more accurately at the celestial thearch's physical body. His eyes flashed with greed. The celestial thearch's corporeal body and combat sword were both supreme treasures. Laughable. Box novel. Calm, Lu Ming said indifferently. The stone golem's indifferent eyes swept towards the He clan the arch. Then it squeezed with force. The terrifying force almost crushed He Qian, causing him to scream in pain. Boom. The He clan's great emperor made his move. His entire body was enshrouded in endless multicolored light. Wisps of multicolored light were like divine swords as they charged towards Lu Ming. That was the light of the world, incomparably terrifying. Buzz. The stone sword had been stuck in the back of the celestial thearch's physical body. At this moment, with a thought from Lu Ming, the stone sword buzzed and flew out. It enlarged rapidly and swept out. After the stone sword merged with celestial emperor's corporeal body, its power increased dramatically. It slashed out horizontally and took all the attacks from the He clan's great emperor. He shall send you on your way. Lu Ming's cold voice was heard. Don't. No, He Qian shouted in fear. He didn't want to die. He had exhausted all his efforts to survive the Great Tribulation and continue to be carefree. But now he was about to die before he even crossed the Great Tribulation. He was extremely frightened. Boom. Lu Ming clenched his fist and a terrifying force gushed towards He Qian. He Qian could not withstand this force at all. In Lu Ming's palm, his body exploded inch by inch, leaving only his head. He wasn't dead yet and his soul was still there. At this moment he was constantly shouting, "Spare me, spare me." Whoosh. A stream of energy rushed into He Qian's sea of consciousness and destroyed his soul. Then Lu Ming threw He Qian's head and it flew out. It landed in front of a large tomb on a mountain. It was the tomb of the Ice Dragon Valley Master. Back then, Lu Ming had sworn to offer He Qian's head as a sacrifice to the Master of Ice Dragon Valley. Now he had done it. Many people were shocked. A true emperor had been killed just like that. He was killed mercilessly by Lu Ming in front of the great emperor. Kill? At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan was furious. His long hair was dancing in the air and his chi was shocking. Bang. He took a step forward and a terrifying aura surged toward Lu Ming. If you want to fight, I'll fight with you. Let's go up. Let's go. Lu Ming said as he soared into the sky. The great emperor of the He clan followed closely behind and soared into the sky as well. At the same time, an extremely bright blade light burst out from his hand. It was as if the entire world was going to be split apart by this blade. Buzz. At this moment, Lu Ming was integrated into the celestial thearch's physical body. He controlled the celestial thearch's physical body, held the stone sword and slashed. Clang. A deafening boom resounded as if the world had exploded. The entire world shook. The people below only felt a bright light burst out in the endless sky, as if the sun had exploded. The two of them exchanged a blow, and their bodies swayed as they retreated a few steps. The He clan emperor's face turned gloomy. As he moved his body also grew rapidly. In the end, he turned into a giant that was as big as the heavenly emperor's physical body. Great emperors controlled great Taos, and the little worlds within their bodies were close to perfection. They could give birth to living beings, and the power of their worlds allowed them to freely expand or shrink their bodies. The He clan's great emperor clenched his hand in the air as if he was holding a great Tao in his hand and it had turned into a battle blade. The great Tao turned into a saber, emitting a brilliant light. With a slash, endless power gathered and slashed at Lu Ming. With a thought from Lu Ming, the energy in the celestial thearch's physical body exploded wildly, covering the celestial thearch's physical body with a layer of multicolored light. The stone sword's multicolored light was even more intense. Clang. Lu Ming swung his sword again and it collided with the He clan great emperor. This time, the two of them were still forced back, and the void trembled under their feet. But the next moment, the two of them continued to collide. Clang, clang, clang. Their attacks were very simple, but each of them contained terrifying power. Each of their attacks shook the earth. If they had landed on the ground, no one knew what would have happened. After becoming a great emperor, one could control a great Tao and return to their original state. A battle might seem simple, but it was even more dangerous. In the blink of an eye, the two of them exchanged dozens of moves, and it was difficult to determine the winner. I have to end this quickly. My energy can't last that long. Lu Ming had many thoughts in his mind. Bang, bang. Lu Ming stepped on the void and dashed towards the great emperor of the He family at top speed. The great emperor of the He family then slashed again. However, this time Lu Ming did not resist. He was betting that the celestial emperor's corporeal body could withstand the opponent's attack. Boom. The saber of the He clan's the arch slashed at Lu Ming's body. Lu Ming's body trembled violently, but he managed to block the attack. There was not even a trace of a mark on his body. Lu Ming was overjoyed. After all, this was the celestial thearch's physical body. The celestial thearch was so powerful that he was much stronger than a great emperor. Their bodies were naturally sturdy and immortal. Ordinary great emperors couldn't even break through the bodies of heavenly emperors. Kill? Lu Ming roared, and the stone sword slashed towards the He clan great emperor. Not good. The great emperor of the He clan was shocked as he retreated. However, he was still a step too late. His body was swept by the stone sword's sharp light, and a bloody wound appeared. Kill, kill, kill. Lu Ming bellowed, and his attacks were like a storm, blasting towards the He clan great emperor. The He clan's great emperor also launched his counterattack. However, Lu Ming completely ignored his own defense and allowed the He clan's great emperor's attacks to land on his body. All he had to do was to attack crazily. For a moment, the great emperor of the He family was completely on the passive side and was being suppressed by Lu Ming. Below, many emperor-level experts could see the battle in the sky through the vast void. At this moment, they were all dumbfounded. The He family, the arch, was actually at a disadvantage and was being suppressed by Lu Ming. What a powerful force. The celestial thearch's physical body is so powerful. It's a complete waste for Lu Ming to control it. If it were controlled by the great emperor of my clan, wouldn't he be able to sweep the world? The eyes of the Hung family's powerhouses were filled with greed, and they wanted to take the celestial emperor's body for themselves. As for the emperor realm experts from the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, they were ecstatic. How's it going? How's the battle above? Huang Ling asked anxiously. Those below the emperor rank did not have the strength to see the battle above. Lu Ming has the upper hand, said Emperor Formless. He had been confronting the emperor from the Hung family all this time and hadn't made a move. At this moment, he waved his hand and an image appeared in the sky. It was the image of Lu Ming and the emperor from the He family fighting in the sky. At this moment, the great emperor of the He clan had been completely suppressed and could only defend passively. Bang! In a moment of carelessness, Lu Ming's other hand landed a punch on the face of the He clan's great emperor, sending him flying. Nice beating. Beat him up. When Desolate Li and the other youths of the Desolate race saw this, they cried out in excitement and joy. The experts of the He family were ashen-faced as they glared at Huang Li and the others. Chapter 2016, Beating Up the Great Emperor? Chapter 2016, Beating Up the Great Emperor. What are you looking at? I'm so happy. I'm waiting for the great emperor of the He clan to be beaten into a pig head. I'm going to record everything with the image exhaling stone. A great emperor being beaten into a pig's head is definitely worth collecting. Perhaps I can sell it to someone else for a high price. Desolate Li and the others glared back at him, then took out the aura image stone and copied down the image. You guys, you're looking for death. The experts of the He family were furious. However, what made them want to vomit blood was that many people at the scene took out the Shadow Breath Stone and made a copy. This included the Hung family and the Daluo Heaven sect. Indeed, the scene of a great emperor being beaten into a pig's head was a rare sight. He believed that many people would spend a lot of money to buy it. This made the He family's people's faces turn red. In the sky, Lu Ming chased after the He family the arch after he had sent him flying. He continued to launch a storm of attacks. The He clan's great emperor howled. A world floated out from his body. In this world, one could even see the birth of some strange creatures that lived and reproduced inside. The endless power of the world was controlled by the He family emperor. It merged with the great Tao of heaven and earth and turned into a terrifying killing technique that was aimed at Lu Ming. However, Lu Ming still did not care about his own defense. He rushed out arrogantly and slashed down with the stone sword. He broke through the world power and attacked the He clan's great emperor. The two of them exchanged more than 10 moves in a row. The great emperor of the He family was at a complete disadvantage. Lu Ming found another flaw and slashed down with his sword. This sword directly slashed the face of the He clan Great Emperor. The Great Emperor of the He clan surrounded his body with the Great Tao. The power of the world spread out as he set up layers of defense around his body. However, when the sword slashed down, the He clan's Great Emperor was still sent flying as if he had been hit by a huge mountain. His body spun a few thousand rounds in the sky. He felt his head buzzing and his soul was almost blasted out. Buzz. The next moment, Lu Ming charged at the He clan Great Emperor and slashed down again. Bang. The Great Emperor of the He clan was sent flying once again. However, Lu Ming did not penetrate the He family Great Emperor's defense. He only made the other party dizzy. The energy stored in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body is still too little. Its offensive power is still insufficient. Lu Ming sighed in his heart. Only 12% of the Heavenly Emperor's energy was stored in his body. Although he was able to suppress the Great Emperor of the He clan with his unparalleled defense, it was still difficult to break through his defense. If the energy stored in the Celestial Thearch's physical body reached 20%, Lu Ming was confident that he could break through the other party's defense and even kill him. However, even if he couldn't break through his opponent's defense now, he could still abuse his opponent ruthlessly. Buzz. Lu Ming dashed towards the He clan's Great Emperor again and kicked him hard on the face. The He clan's Great Emperor groaned and his body was sent flying again. Then Lu Ming caught up with him and blasted the He family Great Emperor away again. The Great Emperor of the He family was sent flying everywhere by Lu Ming's attacks like a ball. Great Emperor. Below, the powerhouses of the He family were all pale. Some of the onlookers were dumbfounded. As for the many people who were with Lu Ming, they were all ecstatic. Aha, this feels good, too good. Hit his face. Yes, yes, hit him hard. Desolate Li laughed as if he was the one beating up the He clan emperor. At the same time, he did not forget to use the image exterminating stone to record the scene. On the side, Emperor Heng's expression was a little unsightly. If Lu Ming could beat up the Great Emperor of the He family, then wouldn't he be able to do the same to him? Ah. In the sky, the He clan's Great Emperor had finally sobered up after being beaten up many times. He roared madly and the small world in his body seemed to be burning. Boom. Boom. He began to go all out. He launched a few terrifying attacks at Lu Ming, bombarding his body. He finally forced Lu Ming to retreat. At the same time, he frantically rushed into the distance and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Retreat. Then the voice of the Great Emperor of the He clan could be heard. Many experts of the He clan had an ugly expression on their faces. However, since the Great Emperor of the He clan had left, they could only retreat. Instantly, each and every one of the He clan turned into a ray of light and fled in a sorry state. In the blink of an eye, he was careless. In the sky, Lu Ming looked at the Emperor of the Hung family with a hint of excitement. Emperor Heng's expression changed. He knew that it was impossible for him to kill Lu Ming and take back the Celestial Emperor's sword or even the Celestial Emperor's physical body. Retreat. Emperor Heng shouted as his body flickered and he also left. As for the experts of the Hung family, they hurriedly fled out of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Institute. Let's go. The void shook and the Emperor of Tianluo appeared. He glanced at Lu Ming unwillingly and left with the people of the Daluo Heaven sect. The three Emperor-level forces had come with great momentum, but they left in a sorry state. And all of this was because of Lu Ming. When they came, it was because of Lu Ming. When he retreated, it was also because of Lu Ming. It could be said that the three great forces were in a sorry state this time, especially the He family. Lu Ming had killed one of the Void Emperor and one of the True Emperor. Even the Great Emperor was beaten up by Lu Ming. They were destined to become a laughing stock. As for the Hung family, Lu Ming had also killed a small emperor. It's too terrifying. Lu Ming controls the Celestial Thearch's physical body and can suppress the Great Emperor. From now on, no one in the Yuan Mountain is his match. That's right. With the Celestial Thearch's physical body protecting him, Lu Ming will definitely grow up smoothly. One wonder how terrifying a son of chaos will be when he grows up. Many people were whispering. Some forces even started to consider whether they should befriend Lu Ming. After all, there was no need to doubt Lu Ming's character. Disregarding his own safety and working together with the Great Emperor to seal the spatial passageway of the evil god race. Just this point alone was enough to leave a good impression on others. Now, Lu Ming had the Celestial Thearch's physical body to protect him. He would definitely grow into a terrifying powerhouse in the future. It was not impossible for him to even break through to the Great Emperor realm. It was naturally best to befriend Lu Ming now. It's a pity that the stored energy is too little, and it's about to be used up now. With a single thought, Lu Ming walked out from the celestial thearch's corporeal bodis glabella. Then the corporeal body shrank rapidly and was put away by Lu Ming. The energy stored in the heavenly emperor's body had almost been used up during the battle with the He family's emperor. Otherwise he wouldn't have minded torturing the Hung family's emperor and the Tianluo emperor. It was because his energy was depleted that Lu Ming did not pursue an attack. Otherwise he would be done for if he was exposed. In fact, the He family's the arch was scared of Lu Ming. If he had held on a little longer, Lu Ming would have been exposed. Then the Hung family's the arch and the emperor of Tianluo would have joined forces and Lu Ming would be in danger. However, they did not know that the celestial thearch's physical body needed to store energy before it could be controlled. They did not dare to fight Lu Ming. Lu Ming descended from the sky and walked towards Huang Ling and the rest. Ah, Lu Ming, it's so satisfying to beat you up. It's so satisfying. I've copied down all the skills just now. Let's enjoy them together when we have time. Desolate Li laughed, his eyes shining. Huang Ling, Long Chen and the others also smiled. It's a pity that I didn't manage to kill a single great emperor. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. Chapter 2017. The Treasure to Save Qiu Yue? Chapter 2017. The Treasure to Save Qiu Yue. Lu Ming shook his head and sighed. Many people were speechless. So Lu Ming still wanted to kill the great emperor. This little guy is quite ambitious, but it's not that easy to kill a great emperor unless you have an overwhelming advantage in power. Emperor Formless walked over with a smile. Then with a flash of light, Uncle Kong appeared. Uncle Kong, are you all right? Lu Ming asked with concern. Uncle Kong had not recovered from his serious injuries and he had just fought with the emperor of Tianluo. Lu Ming was worried. Don't worry, I'm fine. Uncle Kong revealed a warm smile and returned to his old man state. If it wasn't for the fact that everyone had seen Uncle Kong fight, they would never have thought that he was a terrifying great emperor. Uncle Kong didn't stay for long. After exchanging a few words, he left. After that, Emperor Formless also left. They were all injured and needed to recover as soon as possible. As for Huang Li, Huang Ling, Long Chen and the rest, they pulled Lu Ming along and set up a huge feast, euphemistically calling it a celebration. As they drank, they took out the image stone and watched Lu Ming beat up the He family emperor. In the next few days, there were people coming to the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy to visit Lu Ming. It was obvious that these forces wanted to befriend Lu Ming. For example, the ancient Yang Sacred Land's Purple Flame Villa and the only Sacred Hall. Lu Ming had the physical body of a celestial emperor and the combat power of an emperor. He did not have to be afraid of the Daluo Heaven sect. Of course they were willing to make friends with him. It was the same for some other powerful forces. They naturally didn't know that the celestial emperor's corporeal body couldn't be used as and when they wanted to. It needed to store energy. They also didn't know that the celestial emperor's corporeal bodis energy had been exhausted. Lu Ming did not reject anyone and met with the powerhouses from many forces. If he befriended more forces, he would be of use in the future. In the blink of an eye, more than half a month had passed. Heavenly Emperor City was also in the midst of rapid restoration. Since the last battle, the Hung family and the He family had restrained themselves and stopped invading other forces' territories. Many forces had been rebuilt. At this moment, Lu Ming had also left the Yuan Mountain Sacred Institute. He had just received the news that Vientiane Tower had reopened and he immediately rushed over. After entering the Vientiane Tower, there was still someone who led Lu Ming to a room. What information do you want to know? An old man with snow-white hair asked. One want to ask if there is any way to condense a soul. One have a friend who is injured and his soul is injured. Lu Ming then described Qiu Yue's symptoms in detail. Encountered a law of deprivation. Soul injured. The white-haired old man frowned. Lu Ming's heart was in his mouth. If Vientiane Tower did not know what to do, it would be troublesome. After a while, the white-haired old man said, "It's extremely difficult to recover from an injured soul. Can you let me take a look at your friend?" "All right." Lu Ming nodded. He waved his hand and the Dian Elixir Furnace appeared. This is the Great Yen Elixir Furnace of the Great Yen Elixir Palace. Little fellow, you must be the son of chaos, Lu Ming, whose name shook the entire Mount Yuan. The white-haired elder was indeed an expert of Vientiane Tower. He recognized the Dian Elixir Furnace at a glance. "It is this junior," Lu Ming said. He opened the Dian Elixir Furnace and Qiu Yue's body floated out. Every once in a while, Lu Ming would refine a batch of sacred elixirs into Qiu Yue's body. Although it had been a long time, Qiu Yue's face was still ruddy and normal. There was even a strong medicinal fragrance coming from Qiu Yue's body. The white-haired old man waved his hand and a stream of energy flowed into Qiu Yue's body. He began to observe her carefully. A moment later, the white-haired old man retracted his power. The damage to her soul is severe. According to what I know, there is only one place in the entire primordial realm that has a treasure that can allow her soul to gather and recover. The white-haired old man said. What place? What kind of treasure? Lu Ming was overjoyed. As long as he could save Qiu Yue, he would find a way to get any treasure. Little fellow, it won't be easy to use this treasure to save this little girl. That treasure is the national treasure of a super devil country in the land of myriad devils, the eternal demonic coffin. The ancient demonic coffin? Lu Ming's eyes lit up. That's right. The eternal demon coffin of the eternal demon nation is a rare treasure. It has an unimaginable effect on the soul. As long as this little girl is placed in the eternal demon coffin, her soul will be formed in less than a month. However, the ancient demon coffin is the national treasure of the ancient demon nation. It'll be extremely difficult to borrow it for a month. The white-haired old man said. Many thanks, senior. Lu Ming cupped his fists to thank the white-haired elder. He paid the consultation fee and put Qiu Yue back into the Dian elixir furnace. He had to make a trip to the ancient devil nation. The sooner the better. The longer it took, the more disadvantageous it would be for Qiu Yue. No matter how difficult it was, he had to help Qiu Yue recover. After leaving Vientiane Tower, Lu Ming returned to the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. He planned to bid farewell to everyone and leave for the land of 10,000 demons as soon as possible. However, when he returned to the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy, he heard the news that Emperor Wuxia was summoning all the geniuses of the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. It seemed like he had something to announce. Therefore Lu Ming stayed behind temporarily. He would only leave after the Emperor of Notionless finished his announcement. In the next few days, more and more geniuses returned to the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. However, the paragons of the He family, the Hung family, and the Daoyuo Heaven sect did not come. On the fifth day, Emperor Formless gathered everyone at the place where he had given his Dao lecture. Lu Ming and the rest had also arrived. He discovered that there were a total of several hundred people here, but compared to before, there was a huge difference. Bus. The void trembled, and Emperor Formless figure appeared. Greetings, great Emperor. Everyone saluted. This time, one gathered all of you here because I have something important to announce. One believe everyone is very curious as to why Tianhua Huntian and I established the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. Emperor Formless said. Everyone nodded. This point was indeed the question in everyone's heart. There are a few main reasons. One of them is related to the evil god tribe. The previous battle was only a regional battle. The evil god tribe has never given up on attacking the heaven realm and the primordial realm. Now the situation in the heaven realm is very unfavorable. It's only a matter of time before the evil god tribe attacks the primordial realm. Therefore the final battle will break out sooner or later. Emperor Formless spoke with a heavy voice. Everyone's hearts sank and their faces turned grave. After the battle with the evil god race, everyone understood how terrifying the evil god race was. However, that was only a battle of a small scale. If a decisive battle were to break out, how could they fight when the enemy had a large number of great emperors or even heavenly emperors? At that time it wouldn't just be the Yuan Mountain. No one in the entire primordial realm would be able to stay out of it. They would probably all fall into a tragic battle. Gotcha. Lu Ming clenched his fists tightly. He had to become stronger, strong enough to protect his family and friends. He felt a sense of urgency. Chapter 2018. The Battle of the Ten Lands. Chapter 2018. The Battle of the Ten Lands. However, when a world is in danger, the world itself will also be in a defensive state. Emperor Formless continued to explain. The world itself can defend? Everyone was confused. Could it be that the world itself also had a consciousness? That's right. Some powerful existences once speculated that the world itself actually has a consciousness. For example, when the heaven realm or the primordial realm is invaded by the evil god tribe, they will be in a defensive state. The space will become relatively firm and not easy to break through. The most important thing is that when a world is in danger, this world will give birth to a group of heaven's favorites. Many terrifying physiques will appear in groups. Just like now, in the heaven realm and the primordial realm, geniuses are like clouds, constantly emerging. All kinds of king physiques and even the sons of God are constantly appearing. In the past it was simply impossible. In fact, this is the defense of the world. It gave birth to many heaven's favorites. When these heaven's favorites mature, they can defend against enemies. This is the golden age we have now. Emperor Formless continued to explain, and everyone's hearts were in turmoil. This was the first time they had heard of such a thing. The gathering of Heaven's Pride experts, the King Physique competition, and the various scholars' competition for supremacy were actually a defensive state of the world itself. Therefore, all of you are the hope of the future, the hope to resist the evil god tribe. That's why the three of us established the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy to gather all of you together and do our best to nurture you. We hope that you will grow faster. Everyone came to a sudden realization. So this was the reason why the three great emperors convened a meeting at the Yuan Mountain Sacred Academy. The great emperor is truly selfless. Some people sighed, especially when they thought of the unknown fate of Skyfire Emperor and Huntian Emperor. Some people felt sad. Compared to Emperor Formless, Skyfire Emperor and Huntian Emperor, Emperor Heng, Emperor He, and Emperor Tianluo were all extremely despicable and selfish. Of course, this is only the first point. The second point is that the Battle of the Ten Lands will be held soon. This time, it is said that there will be a great opportunity. Therefore, we want you to grow faster and seize the opportunity. Emperor Formless continued. The Battle of the Ten Lands? Everyone looked puzzled. They had never heard of such a thing. The Battle of the Ten Lands is a meeting held by many great emperors in the 10 lands of the primordial realm. It will gather all the elites of the 10 lands. When the elites compete, it will also be accompanied by great opportunities. The goal is the same. It will nurture this batch of elites and allow them to grow faster. Emperor Wuxia said. Everyone's hearts trembled and it was difficult for them to calm down. The Battle of the 10 lands would gather all the geniuses of the 10 lands. How many geniuses would there be in the 10 lands? How intense would the competition between the paragons be? Such a thing had never happened before in history. This was the first time. This time, the battle will be held in the divine fated land, and there will be countless powerful cultivators participating. It will be accompanied by a great opportunity that will be of great help to your cultivation. If you want to rise before the war with the evil god tribe and have the ability to protect yourself in the future, you cannot miss this battle. Emperor Formless' voice caused everyone's hearts to stir. Great Emperor, when will the battle begin? Lu Ming asked. If Lu Ming wanted to break through and reach the peak, he could not miss such an opportunity. However, he still had to go to the land of infinite demons to save Qiu Yue. 3 years later, Emperor Wuxia said. 3 years later? It's too late. Lu Ming heaved a long sigh of relief. 3 years later, the divine lands will gather. At that time, you will face the geniuses of the entire primordial realm. Therefore, if you want to stand out in the Battle of the 10 lands and seize opportunities, you have to improve continuously in these 3 years. Otherwise you will only be a foil. Do you understand? Emperor Wuxia said. Understood. Everyone roared. All right. Now Lu Ming, Lu Xiangxiang. You guys stay here, the rest of you may leave. Then Emperor Formless named a group of people. After that, some people left, leaving only a few dozen behind. Lu Ming swept his gaze across them and realized that almost all of them had king physiques. Only a few of them did not have king physique. Bubbles, Huang Ling, Long Qin, Ouyang Wushuang, and the others were all there. At this moment, the space rippled and a few more figures appeared. Uncle Kong and the Holy Emperor, the emperor who was like an emperor. Several great emperors appeared at the same time. You are the most talented group of people in Yuan Mountain. In the next 3 years we will send you to some strange places. Each place is related to the laws you have comprehended and will greatly help you in your cultivation. Emperor Formless continued. Many people's eyes lit up. The place the great emperor had chosen must be extraordinary and would be of great help to their cultivation. Great Emperor, I'm afraid one can't go. Lu Ming took a step forward and cupped his fists. Well, no. You're going to the land of myriad demons, right? Emperor Formless nodded. Saving people is more important. But if you want to borrow the ancient demon coffin, you still have to rely on yourself. Those guys in the land of 10,000 demons, even if we show up, it won't have the slightest effect. Might even backfire. Uncle Kong said. Those demonic cultivators are all arrogant, humph. The Holy Emperor coldly snorted. Yes. Lu Ming nodded. I want to follow Brother Lu Ming too, Chirpy. The bubble hung around Lu Ming's neck. Little guy, we'll take you to a place that will be of great help to your cultivation. Are you really not going? Emperor Formless looked at Bubbles. I'm not going. Bubbles shook her head vigorously. Lu Ming smiled bitterly. Bubbles, go and cultivate with the great emperors. We'll meet again very soon. Bubbles was a space-time spirit mouse and was blessed by the heavens. His talent was even stronger than the average child of God. If he continued to follow him, it would limit his talent instead. All this while, Bubbles had been following him and her cultivation progress had not been too fast. This time, Lu Ming planned to let Bubbles cultivate with the Great Emperor so that she could improve faster. Lu Ming felt a sense of urgency. He did not know when the evil god tribe would attack. All of them had to make the best use of their time to improve their abilities. If not for the fact that he had to save Qiu Yue, Lu Ming would have followed the Great Emperor to cultivate. But Bubbles can't bear to leave brother Lu Ming. Chirpy. The bubble hung on Lu Ming's neck and rubbed its small head against him. Be good, Papao. Go and improve your abilities. Otherwise, you won't be able to help brother Lu Ming in the future. Lu Ming touched Bubbles' small head. Don't. Bubbles must help brother Lu Ming. Pow Pow blinked her large eyes and finally agreed to go cultivate with the arch. Alright, I'll give you 3 days to prepare. 3 days later we'll take you away, Emperor Formless said. After that, the other great emperors all left. Lu Ming, let's go for a drink. Desolately and the others walked over. After that, everyone drank to their heart's content and then gathered at the divine fated land to compete with the heavens' favorites from other regions. 3 days passed in the blink of an eye. 3 days later, Lu Ming left the heavenly emperor city alone with Qiu Yue. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2019, Setting Off to the Land of Myriad Demons. Chapter 2019. Chapter 2019 Setting Off to the Land of Myriad Demons. The Land of Myriad Demons was one of the 10 lands of the primordial realm. It was close to the Yuan Mountain and had a vast territory. Lu Ming stepped into the teleportation array and first came to the teleportation area outside the ancient Yang sacred land. Then he flew to the land of infinite demons. The ancient Sun sacred land was the sacred land closest to the land of 10,000 demons out of the 9 sacred lands of Mount Yuan. After flying for more than 10 days, the demonic qi gradually became denser. Then Lu Ming saw a large river in front of him that stretched across the land. This was the ancient Devil River, which separated the land of myriad devils from the Yuan Mountain. It was unknown how long it was, but it was 8,000 miles wide. The strange thing was that the water of the ancient Devil River was black. Only by crossing the Myriad Devil River could one reach the land of myriad devils. Lu Ming did not stop. He rose into the air and flew to the other side of the primeval demon river. The ancient Devil River was rich in devil qi and bred some strange demonic beasts, some of which were very powerful. These demonic beasts were filled with dense demonic qi and were called demonic beasts in the land of 10,000 demons. In the process of crossing the river, Lu Ming ran into some trouble. He was attacked by some demonic beasts, but he managed to get past them all. The most dangerous time was when he even encountered a huge shark at the Martial Emperor realm. Fortunately, Lu Ming used the divine breath technique to hide his aura and luckily avoided it. It took Lu Ming 3 days to cross the 8,000-mile distance and reach the territory of the land of myriad demons. Such dense demonic qi. Lu Ming discovered that the demonic qi in the land of infinite demons was extremely rich. Demonic qi was actually a type of energy of heaven and earth. Warriors could absorb and refine it, but if they were not cultivating demonic techniques, it would be very difficult to absorb and refine it. It was much slower than absorbing the natural energy. However, if he cultivated demonic techniques, he would be like a fish in water when he absorbed demonic qi. His cultivation would be faster. Therefore, the land of infinite demons was a heaven for demonic cultivators. Most of the warriors here were demonic cultivators. No matter what laws they comprehended, their true essence and saint power all contain demonic power. The land of infinite demons is said to have thousands of devil nations. Among them, there are 2 strongest devil nations and the ancient devil nation is one of them. Lu Ming pondered and started to plan his next itinerary. There were countless devil nations in the land of 10,000 devils, and they were divided into low-tier devil nations, middle-tier devil nations, high-tier devil nations, and super devil nations. The ancient devil nation was a super devil nation. It was extremely powerful, even stronger than emperor-level powers like the He clan and the Hung clan. It had been around for countless years. It wasn't going to be that easy to use the ancient devil nation's national treasure. First, he had to get to the eternal devil nation and get to know the upper echelons of the nation. Only then would he be able to find a way to use the eternal demonic coffin. Lu Ming took out a jade card and sank his spiritual sense into it. A map automatically appeared in his mind. This was the map of the land of myriad demons. This was the map given to Lu Ming by Emperor Notionless. As a great emperor, it was not strange for him to have a map of the land of myriad demons. On the map, the territories of tens of thousands of devil nations appeared. Lu Ming watched for a while, then rose into the air and flew into the distance. Boom. Boom. After flying for a short while, Lu Ming heard a roar coming from ahead. There were figures fighting. There were more than a dozen figures fighting each other. Demonic chi surged and saber lights flashed. The people fighting were divided into two sides. However, it was obvious that one side was stronger. With a flash of the blade, someone was killed. In a short while, all the people on one side were killed. The rest of them were all dressed in black robes and carried demonic blades on their backs. Their eyes were fierce and filled with ruthlessness. Demonic cultivators, due to the influence of demonic chi, had very strange personalities. Some people were ruthless, some were brutal, but they all had one thing in common. Those who cultivated in the demonic path would not be soft-hearted, and their attacks were decisive and ruthless. Collect these guys' storage rings quick. One of the leaders shouted as he collected the interspatial rings of those who were killed. Commander, there's a kid over there. Someone saw Lu Ming and cast a cold gaze at him. He'll just have another source of income. Kill him. The leader of the group sneered. Bus. And NBSP whoosh. In an instant, 7 to 8 burly men in black surrounded Lu Ming. Brat, hand over your storage ring and 111 leave your corpse intact. A black-robed man said coldly. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He did not expect to encounter a robbery the moment he arrived at the land of myriad demons. Before he came here, he had heard that the land of myriad demons was very chaotic and that most demonic cultivators were warlike. It was common for them to kill each other if they didn't agree with each other. Today he saw that it was indeed so. However, the strongest of these people was only a bright saint. The others were all half-saints. It would be too overconfident to rob him. Get lost, let's go. Lu Ming shouted, and the aura of an absolute saint exploded. The terrifying aura caused the expressions of the 7 or 8 black-robed men to change drastically. Absolute saint, it's an absolute saint. Senior, please spare our lives. We have eyes but fail to recognize Mount Tai. We will immediately get lost. The 7 or 8 burly men revealed an expression of extreme fear. They were almost scared to death. This was only the border of the land of infinite demons. Normally there wouldn't be any experts here. Why were they so unlucky to meet a young-looking man who was actually an absolute saint? They broke into a run and disappeared in the blink of an eye. Lu Ming smiled faintly. He could not be bothered to attack these people with their cultivation. This was just a small interlude in Lu Ming's journey to the land of myriad demons. He continued to fly, but to Lu Ming's dismay, he would encounter robbers every once in a while. Some of them were reckless and wanted to attack Lu Ming, but he killed them easily. After that, Lu Ming's absolute saint stage cultivation was undoubtedly revealed as he flew. Many robbers fled as soon as they sensed Lu Ming's cultivation. After flying for more than 10 days, Lu Ming passed by a few low-ranked devil nations and found that almost all of them were at war. What made Lu Ming even more depressed was that these low-ranked devil nations did not have teleportation arrays. They could only rely on flying. After flying for a few more days, Lu Ming's eyes flickered and he stopped when he was passing by a vast demon mountain. He found a valley with an astonishingly dense demonic chi. Such dense demonic chi is perfect for the celestial thearch's body to absorb some energy. Lu Ming pondered. Now the energy stored in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was almost empty, and he needed a large amount of energy to replenish it. The dangers of this trip to the Eternal Demon Nation were unknown. The stronger he was, the better. If the Celestial Emperor's body could recover to 10%, then his chances would be much higher. Lu Ming moved and headed toward the valley. Just as Lu Ming approached the valley, the roars of beasts could be heard. A few pitch-black giant wolves pounced on Lu Ming. He has the cultivation of the great saint realm. Lu Ming's heart skipped a beat. These giant wolves had the strength of a great saint. Boom. Lu Ming threw a punch and a few giant wolves shrieked in pain. They were sent flying and fell to the ground, unable to move. Roar. At this moment, the valley was in an uproar as howls and roars rang out. Chapter 2020, Chapter 2020 Devil's Pool. Chapter 2020, Chapter 2020 Devil's Pool. In the valley, the roars were endless, as if there were hundreds and thousands of beasts. At the same time, the earth trembled, as if thousands of soldiers and horses were charging out of the valley. The strongest is an emperor to be. The corners of Lu Ming's mouth curled into a smile. He took a step forward and entered the valley. In front of him, a pack of giant wolves charged at Lu Ming. There were at least a few hundred of them. There were bright saints, great saints, and even absolute saints. The giant wolves' bodies were pitch black, and they emitted a thick demonic aura. Their eyes were filled with ferocity as they pounced at Lu Ming. Kill? Lu Ming waved his hand and his saint energy condensed into long spears. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The long spear pierced through the air, emitting a sharp whistling sound. Instantly, the giant wolves were nailed to the ground by the spear. No matter if it was an absolute saint or a great saint or a bright saint, they were all the same. They were killed in one move. In an instant, dozens of giant wolves were nailed to death. The other giant wolves could not help but pause and stop. After reaching the saint realm, the giant wolf naturally had a high level of intelligence. It looked at Lu Ming with fear. If you don't want to die, get lost. Die. Lu Ming shouted coldly. His eyes were like two black vortexes as he cast the soul illusion. At this moment he seemed to have turned into a god of death in the eyes of the giant wolves, slaughtering all living beings. Woo! The rest of the giant wolves all cried out in fear and slowly retreated. Brr. At this moment, a roar came from the depths of the valley, shaking the entire valley. Lu Ming saw that there was a huge cave in the depths of the valley. At that moment, an exceptionally huge wolf was walking out of the valley. This giant wolf was at least 100 meters tall, like a small mountain. Its entire body was pitch black as if it was cast from steel, and its demonic qi was incomparably dense. Emperor-to-be. Lu Ming had sensed that the giant wolf was at the Emperor-to-be realm. It was obvious that this giant wolf was the king of this pack of giant wolves. It took a step forward and swept its cold gaze across the pack of wolves, causing the other giant wolves to tremble and prostrate themselves. Human, you're looking for death. Giant Wolf King looked at Lu Ming and said in a cold voice. The next moment, Giant Wolf King kicked its forelegs and its huge body pounced toward Lu Ming, casting a large shadow. In the blink of an eye, the giant wolf pounced in front of Lu Ming, its claws as sharp as knives, slashing at Lu Ming. Lu Ming smiled faintly. His holy power surged and his figure suddenly rushed out like a beam of light at an unbelievable speed. Buzz. The next moment, Lu Ming was on top of the giant wolf's head and he punched it. Boom. The punch landed directly on the wolf's head. The wolf wailed and its huge body fell to the ground. The ground shook and the valley rumbled. A huge pit appeared on the ground. Brr. Lu Ming had not used his full strength in this punch, so the giant wolf did not die. It roared and struggled madly. Lu Ming stomped down and the giant wolf wailed. Its head hit the ground again, creating a huge pit. If you continue to resist, it'll kill you. Lu Ming said coldly, his entire body exuding an icy cold killing intent. Giant Wolf King shuddered. It knew that it was far from being Lu Ming's match. If Lu Ming wanted to kill it, it would be as easy as turning his hand. Human, what are you trying to do? Giant Wolf King asked. I'm going to cultivate here for a while. After a while, 111 leave. You guys just stay outside. If you don't agree, it'll kill all of you and one can still cultivate here. Lu Ming said coldly. Are you really going to leave after a while? Giant Wolf King asked. Nonsense, who would be willing to stay in this broken place? Lu Ming pursed his lips. He took a step forward and walked toward the cave in the depths of the valley. In that cave, the demonic qi was rolling and extremely dense. And NBSP Giant Wolf King howled a few times, but in the end he had no choice but to stay outside the valley with his wolf pack. Such dense demonic qi. Lu Ming walked into the cave and raised his eyebrows. The demonic qi here was thicker than he had imagined. It was almost tangible. That's the demon origin fruit. Suddenly, Lu Ming saw a small tree growing on one of the walls of the cave. On the small tree there were 3 fruits that were as black as ink. The main focus of the Dian Elixir Hall was elixir refinement. Lu Ming had naturally read a large number of books in the Dian Elixir Hall. He was very familiar with all kinds of precious medicinal herbs and heavenly and earthly treasures. Naturally, he recognized the fruit at a glance. The demonic origin fruit was an extremely rare and precious fruit. It was very useful for those who cultivated demonic arts. Consuming it could purify demonic qi and increase one's strength. However, these 3 demonic origin fruits were clearly not fully ripe yet. However, it seemed that they were not far from ripening. According to the records, the demonic origin fruit can only grow in places with extremely dense demonic qi. It's extraordinary that the demonic origin fruit can grow here. Lu Ming thought to himself and then sized up the cave. The cave was huge and led all the way inside. Lu Ming followed the path and soon he made a discovery. There was a small pond with water as black as ink, with bubbles constantly popping out. This water was an extremely dense demonic qi. This is the devil's pool. There's actually a devil's pool here. No wonder the devil qi is so dense. Lu Ming revealed a look of joy. The devil's pool was the birthplace of devil qi. There would be an endless stream of devil qi gushing out. Although it was only a small devil's pool, the devil qi it contained was already very rich. No wonder it could produce the devil origin fruit. No wonder there was a pack of giant wolves guarding this place. With a thought, the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body appeared. Lu Ming activated his cultivation technique and controlled the Celestial Thearch's body to absorb the demonic qi. The demonic qi here was extremely dense, and the effect was better than directly absorbing the raw gemstones. The demonic qi in the surroundings gathered toward the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body in a frenzy, turning into energy for storage. Just like that, the days passed by. In the blink of an eye, more than 10 days had passed, and the energy in the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body had reached about 3%. This speed was already very fast. In the past, Lu Ming had spent more than half a year to store 12% of the energy in the Celestial Thearch's body. On this day, a group of people arrived outside the valley. These people carried demonic sabers on their backs and their bodies were filled with a murderous aura. Their eyes were as sharp as blades. Counting the days, the demon origin fruits here are about to ripen. It's time to pick them. The leader of the group, a burly man, spoke. This person had a strong aura and had the cultivation of an emperor-to-be. However, there's a pack of demonic wolves in this valley. It's not easy to deal with them. Another person said, "What's so difficult about it? There's only one emperor-to-be MO wolf in this group of MO wolves. We have 3 emperor-to-be experts. It's enough to annihilate this group of demon wolves." The burly man in the lead said coldly, "Not bad. We'll kill our way in a while." Another emperor-to-be said, "These people started to wait outside the valley. However, they didn't know that there was another group of people looking at them from the clouds in the distance." Chapter 2021. Chapter 2021, Fight. Chapter 2021. Chapter 2021 Fight. Young Master, it's the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. What should we do now? In the clouds, an old man asked a young master. This young master was dressed in silk clothes and he had a dignified look. "This isn't easy. Let's wait for the people from Fiend Blade Mountain to fight with the giant wolves in the valley first. We can just sit back and reap the benefits." The young master smiled faintly. Young master is wise. The people beside the young master immediately started to flatter him, which made the young master quite happy. Time flew by and another half a day passed. "Do it." At the entrance of the valley, Fiend Blade Mountain's leader waved his hand. Following that, his figure flickered and they rushed into the valley. Brr, brr. As soon as they rushed into the valley, they were discovered by the giant wolves in the valley. Immediately, hundreds of giant wolves, under the leadership of Giant Wolf King, charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. Bus, bus. On Demonic Blade Mountain, 2 emperor-to-be rushed towards Giant Wolf King, while the other emperor-to-be rushed towards the other giant wolves with the others. The valley instantly fell into a chaotic battle. Even though there were fewer people from Fiend Blade Mountain, their strength was clearly stronger. The people who came here were at least in the Great Saint Realm, and half of them were in the Absolute Saint Realm. Under the leadership of an emperor-to-be, a large number of giant wolves were killed. Giant Wolf King was also at a disadvantage against the 2 emperor-to-be experts. Lu Ming naturally heard the commotion outside. However, Lu Ming's eyes flickered. He did not go out but continued to control the Celestial Thearch's body to absorb the demonic aura. Not long after, the sounds of the battle outside gradually died down. Under the siege of the 2 emperor-to-be, Giant Wolf King's head was cut off by the leader of the other side. More than half of the other giant wolves were also killed, and the rest scattered and fled the place. Haha, demon origin fruit. The eyes of the leader of Fiend Blade Mountain revealed a greedy look as he looked at the cave where Lu Ming was. "You want to obtain the demonic origin fruit with just your abilities?" At this moment, a cold voice came from outside the valley. Then, with a flash, a group of people rushed into the valley. It was the group of people who had been in the clouds. The face of the chief of Fiend Blade Mountain changed. He looked at the young child and the others, revealing a trace of vigilance. "Who are you people? Do you recognize this?" A black token appeared in the young master's hand. The moment Fiend Blade Mountain's people saw this token, their expressions changed drastically. "You guys are from the Eternal Devil Nation." The leader of Fiend Blade Mountain shouted. The ancient devil nation was a super devil nation. One should know that there were only 2 super devil nations in the entire land of myriad devils. Each of them was shockingly powerful and were true overlords. They were not something their Fiend Blade Mountain could resist. Oh, so you're an expert from the eternal devil nation. Pardon my rudeness. Since you've set your eyes on the demon origin fruit, well, let you have it then. Fiend Blade Mountain's leader squeezed out an ugly smile on his face. He was very unwilling in his heart. Give way? The ancient Luo nation doesn't need you to give in. What I want, one will just take it. Attack and kill all these trash. The young master's indifferent voice sounded. Kill? The people around the young master immediately charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. Charge out. The Fiend Blade Mountain's leader roared and turned into a fiend blade, wanting to rush out. But the next moment 2 figures blocked him. Emperor-to-be, the 2 figures were both Emperor-to-be. What made him desperate was that the other 2 emperors-to-be of the demonic Blade Mountain were facing the same situation as him. They were blocked by 2 emperors-to-be respectively. The young master had brought an astonishing number of experts, at least 6 emperor-to-be. We've already given up the demonic origin fruit. Why are you still trying to kill us? The leader of Fiend Blade Mountain roared unwillingly. Ah, what a joke. You're born in the land of 10,000 demons, yet you still ask such a question. Kill. The young master shouted. His subordinates all charged towards the people from Fiend Blade Mountain. The young master's men were obviously stronger. Instantly, the people from Fiend Blade Mountain were killed one after another. There was no suspense in this battle. Not long after, the people of Fiend Blade Mountain followed in the footsteps of the giant wolf. They were even more miserable than the giant wolf. Not a single one of them escaped and all of them stayed here. In the land of infinite demons, such a battle was too normal. Especially when they encountered treasures, the battle would be even more brutal. Therefore, the fiendish cultivators in the land of myriad fiends were generally stronger in combat. In a battle of the same level, their combat strength was probably stronger than that of the people in the Yuan Mountain. And NBSP, the young master, kept the storage rings and smiled coldly. He didn't care at all and then led everyone towards the cave. Their eyes lit up as soon as they entered the cave. The 3 demon origin fruits are not ripe yet. However, they will be ripe in half an hour. An old man judged. Why does the demonic chi here keep flowing into the cave? Suddenly, some people discovered a problem. The demonic chi here had been gathering towards the cave. This was obviously not normal. They had once sent experts in to investigate and knew that there was a devil's pool in the depths of the cave. The devil chi should have been constantly spreading outside. There was someone inside. Everyone had the same thought. The young master's eyes flashed with killing intent. Let's go and take a look. The young master said coldly. The group walked into the cave. Soon they arrived at the demonic pool and saw Lu Ming. The surging demonic chi was constantly gathering towards the celestial emperor's corporeal body. After more than 10 days of absorption, the demonic chi in the demonic pool had almost dried up. This golem is amazing. It can actually absorb demonic chi. The demonic chi in the demonic pool is almost dried up. It couldn't have been absorbed by this golem, right? It's a treasure. The crowd was in a heated discussion. The young master's eyes were filled with greed. Brat, you actually dared to secretly absorb the demonic chi here. You're really looking for death. The young man said coldly. At this moment, Lu Ming opened his eyes and casually glanced around before uttering a word. Get lost. The young master's face darkened instantly. Brat, you're looking for death. Young master, I'll go kill him. A burly man at the Absolute Saint realm said. Let's cripple him first and see what secrets he has. The young master ordered. Understood. The burly man at the Absolute Saint stage nodded his head. Then, his body moved like an eagle pouncing on its prey as he pounced towards Lu Ming. His claws were like blades as he grabbed at Lu Ming at an astonishing speed. Kill, sword light. Lu Ming suddenly shouted. 2 sword lights shot out from his eyes and rushed into the body of the burly man at the Absolute Saint stage. The burly man screamed in pain and fell to the ground. He twitched a few times and stopped breathing. He was dead. The expressions of the young master and the others changed. An Absolute Saint expert died just like that. What kind of technique was this? Young master, be careful. This kid is not simple. An emperor-to-be said with a serious expression. Chapter 2022, Chapter 2021, Kill Them All. Chapter 2022, Chapter 2021 Kill them all, not simple? How old did he look? How strong could he be? How can he be stronger than an emperor to be? Let's attack together and destroy his cultivation. I want him to kneel in front of me and beg for mercy like a dog. The young master roared. Kill? As soon as the young master finished speaking, his subordinates stepped forward one after another. Their powerful auras pressed toward Lu Ming. He's really seeking his own death. Lu Ming shook his head slightly. He had wanted to continue controlling the Celestial Emperor's corporeal body to absorb the demonic qi, but he had to stop now. With a wave of his hand, the Celestial Thearch's physical body was put away. Lu Ming stood up and a powerful aura filled the air. You're only at the Absolute Saint realm. An emperor-to-be shouted coldly. His figure was like a bolt of lightning rushing toward Lu Ming. He moved quickly, but Lu Ming was faster. He pointed his finger. As this finger pointed out, a terrifying whistling sound rang out in the space as if the space was about to be pierced. All the attacks and defenses of the emperor-to-be were fragile under this finger. No! The emperor-to-be was terrified when he saw Lu Ming's finger enlarging in front of his eyes. He wanted to dodge, but he realized that it was too late. Lu Ming's finger touched the man's glabella. A terrifying force shot out and the man's head was pierced through. His soul was turned into ashes by this attack. Not only that, but the finger force continued to shoot backward with a trace of blood, piercing through a few more people. The rest of the people gasped and their expressions changed. One move to kill an emperor-to-be, such combat strength was too terrifying. Let's attack together. The young master roared madly. Boom. Boom. Everyone exploded. At least 7 emperor-to-be and some absolute saints attacked. All kinds of attacks were aimed at Lu Ming. Buzz. At that moment, a halo appeared on Lu Ming's body. It was the light of chaos. This is the light of law. Light of chaos, this person is the son of chaos. The son of chaos. Many people shouted in fear. It was simply unbelievable. The young man they had randomly met here was actually the son of chaos and had even refined the light of chaos. Lu Ming's chaotic light surrounded him. The attacks around him had no effect on him as they were all blocked by the chaotic light. Lu Ming moved his body and rushed toward the 2 emperor-to-be, pointing 2 fingers in succession. These 2 emperor-to-be followed in the footsteps of the previous emperor-to-be, being pierced by the finger force and dying here. Go, quickly go. Young master, run. The rest of the people shouted in fear. They did not dare to continue fighting with Lu Ming. The son of chaos, who had refined the light of laws, was too terrifying. It was impossible for them to be a match for him. If they stayed, they would only be met with death. At this moment, the young master was already scared out of his wits. He was being pulled by an emperor-to-be and was running away. All of you stay. Lu Ming said coldly. As his body flashed, he pointed his finger again and another emperor-to-be was killed. Lu Ming's speed was as fast as lightning. He could kill an emperor-to-be with each attack. An ordinary emperor-to-be would be killed by Lu Ming in seconds. The young master had brought a total of 8 emperor-to-be with him. In an instant, Lu Ming had killed 7 of them. Only one was left and he was running away with the young master. Whoosh, whoosh. This time, Lu Ming pointed dozens of fingers in an instant. The entire sky was filled with finger shadows and finger forces. The finger force swept across and the remaining people fell one by one. Since these people wanted to kill him, he did not show any mercy. Moreover, these people seemed to have an extraordinary background. It was Lu Ming's first time in the land of infinite demons. If he let these people go, they would definitely take revenge. It would be extremely disadvantageous to Lu Ming's future plans. Therefore he could only kill. One by one the figures fell to the ground. Soon only the young master and the emperor-to-be were left. At this moment the young master's face was as white as snow without any color. Although the emperor-to-be had led him out of the cave, they were still intercepted by Lu Ming in the valley. Don't kill me. I'm from the eternal devil nation. Killing me won't do you any good. The young master roared. It's even worse for me if one don't kill you, Lu Ming said coldly. He pointed his finger and a huge chaos finger of tribulation formed, crushing toward the young master and the last emperor-to-be. The young man roared and unleashed his full power. He was an absolute saint in the upper tier, and his spiritual body was a top-tier earth spiritual body. He was a rare heaven's favorite. On top of that, he even took out a monarch weapon to defend himself. It was obvious that this person's identity was not ordinary. Then he shouldn't be left alive. And NBSP, the primal chaos tribulation finger, crushed over. The two's resistance was in vain and they were reduced to dust. Then Lu Ming's figure flashed and he kept everyone's storage rings. Of course, Lu Ming also kept the young master's sovereign weapon. Lu Ming then waited there for half an hour. Half an hour later, the demonic origin fruit ripened. Lu Ming plucked the demonic origin fruit and soared into the sky, leaving the place. He couldn't stay here for long. Who knew if the other party's forces would come here? Anyway, the demonic qi in the demonic pool had almost been absorbed. The energy stored in Celestial Emperor's corporeal body was close to 4%, which was a great harvest. After that, Lu Ming flew at full speed toward the nearest medium-level Devil Kingdom. There should be a teleportation formation in a middle-ranked Devil Kingdom. The land of myriad demons was vast and boundless, not any smaller than the Yuan Mountain. If they flew there, it would take an unknown amount of time. After flying for a few more days, Lu Ming, who was flying, suddenly stopped. That was because there was a purple-black-red light flying toward them at high speed. Even from a distance, Lu Ming could see that it was a beautiful lady. She was wearing a tight-fitting purple dress, which revealed her hot figure. She was a woman full of temptation. But at this moment, this woman was a little panicked and was flying at high speed. Whoosh, whoosh. Behind the woman, streaks of light streaked across the sky, flying towards her. It was obvious that this woman was being pursued. At this moment, the beautiful lady also saw Lu Ming. She continued to fly toward him and said, "If you help me block those people behind me, I won't mistreat you." Although he looked a little panicked, there was a hint of cold arrogance in his voice. To Lu Ming, it sounded as if he was being ordered to do something. Lu Ming frowned. His figure drifted backward and flew in another direction, distancing himself from the absolute beauty. He was not related to this woman and he did not want to be a busybody. "If you help me quickly, 111 definitely reward you handsomely. If you need anything, just tell me." The young woman called out anxiously when she saw Lu Ming retreating. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.